the camera.
6'4".
I went and I just
And then we'll just have Parents' Night broadcasting here. Not, it's better. We'll go off Robert's camera. I do have the crowd mic on right now. What? Oh, where's the wire? Do we have the wireless thing?
He went down to get it.
Ringer did?
Yeah.
Okay, hey, Ringer, we don't have Ringer did.
I was ready to run again.
So actually, if we have that, we don't.
You are a goer. I gotta give you that.
Unless I have another one of these boxes. We'll need another one.
How did your show turn out the other night for Mr. Pete show? Oh boy.
Hopefully Robert gets in the middle.
And then they're welcome to run out. Perfect.
If we went out like maybe we can get some money back to see where the grass is. Yeah, that's the grass patch.
And then you're gonna walk, go to there.
Line up.
Saw you on TV yesterday.
Everybody go down!
Just gather right up here in the grass.
See ya!
I almost probably
Right down there. Right down there.
like a month ago. Like 2 days after.
Now, let's go back.
know what to do. And I'm like, guys, it's 7. Josie. 7. No. Josie sat out. Oh, they're getting caught. So what they're doing. I'm calling Barbie. That's it. You're right back there. I know everything.
Well, good evening and welcome to Sports Stadium as we get set for the regular season finale as the International Falls Broncos take on the Virginia Blue Devils. Tim Ringhofer joined by George Frake. And George, I'm going to put you in charge of something. You watched.
Here we go now.
You watch that flip with the coin out there and see what happens.
I have never failed to miss.
The Broncos come into this game 4-3. Unfortunately, we thought it would probably be 5-2, but the Broncos fall 14-8 last Friday night to Evelyn Gilbert on the road. A very close and tight game. The Broncos outgained the Golden Bears in yardage. More first downs, more this, more that. Place where they ended up short was on the scoreboard as they fell by a final score of 14-8. The Virginia Blue Devils come in with an 0-7 record, and they are looking obviously for that first win of the season, and they would do themselves very happy to do it right here on this field where Virginia has won a couple of big games in the past. You might recall that they have won two of their section championship games right here at Sports Stadium back in 1995, ouch, and 2004, bigger ouch. Sorry guys, I had to bring those things up, but we talk about those, and it is Parents' Night. And when the Parents' Night festivities get started here, we will give you coverage of that. But these two teams looking to put themselves into their final spots into the playoffs. It looks like the Broncos will be playing at home on Tuesday night, and it looks like it will be against the Mesabi East. Well, boy, that wasn't. There we go. Now we're going to switch around. The Mesabi East Giants, as Royalton has already lost today, so they're going to end the regular season 3-5. Mesabi East is 2-5 on the season. They play GNK tonight. We would think that Mesabi East would lose that game and so end up 2-6, and so they would be 5-6. And we are going to stop talking now because the Parents' Night thing has begun.
Being out on the field, helping us by honoring our players tonight. Amos McKenzie, Alphonse Wayman, Ellie Jean, and Rob Gilbertson. Thank you very much for your time and efforts, boys. On this night, we recognize the parents of our Bronco football senior players, cheerleaders, and band members of 2020. It does not come without a great amount of hard work, dedication, commitment, and support. Thank you, senior parents, for supporting your children and helping them to reach their goals. May you always remember and cherish tonight as your child may take their last walk on this field or play their last school song in these stands as a Bronco. Thank you, senior players, cheerleaders, and band members for the intense excitement and for the Friday Night Lights entertainment you have provided for us all. And congratulations. First of all, your Bronco Pep Band seniors. Gracie Barr, daughter of Holly Barr. Andrew Bolk, son of Keith and Michelle Bolk. Jake Erickson, son of Kevin and Jen Erickson. Emma Johns, daughter of Tammy Johns. And Nathan Johnson, son of Gary Johnson and Laura Kaminsky. And now our senior cheerleaders. Captain Keisha Kittleson, daughter of Karina McClellan and Casey Kittleson. Keisha has cheered for the Bronco football team for 2 years. She will always remember staying back after the team feeds and bonding with the girls before every game. Keisha's pregame ritual is to tuck in her laces. Her advice to her cheermates is to always do the aggressive cheer. It's Jessica's favorite. Keisha's future plans are to attend Winona State University and major in business. To her parents, thank you guys for coming to all the freezing cold games and supporting me. Thank you for always taking that extra step to make sure everything is perfect. I couldn't thank you guys enough. Anna Kalman. Anna is the daughter of Dean and Maria Kalman. She's been a Bronco football cheerleader for 2 years. One thing she will always remember about cheering for football is that every flyer has hit her in the head at least once. With that said, her advice to her cheermates is never let a flyer hit the ground. Anna is also involved in MHS dance, speech, band, and choir. She plays piano and cheers for the Bronco basketball team. Anna plans on attending Winona State University for nursing. She'd like to thank her parents for their support and for letting her cheer. I love looking into the crowd and seeing your faces. Anna Kalman. Next, senior cheerleader, Shania Larson. Shania is the daughter of Brad Larson. She has cheered for the Bronco football team for 2 years. Her favorite memory was last year at their first out-of-town game. They went to put the flyer up, and the flyer fell on her. Shania's words of advice to future cheerleaders is to always practice, be loud, and have fun. Shania is hoping to attend college in the future to become a nurse. To her dad, thank you, Dad, for always coming to support me, telling me to do my best, and for always saying cheer loud before each game. Shania Larson. Senior football player and captain, number 54, Travis Kaler, son of Angie and Stuart Kaler, also known as Chewy. He's a linebacker and also plays on the offensive line. His favorite memory is beating 2 Harbors this season on homecoming. His word of advice for his teammates, don't give up. Before each game, Travis eats a 3 Musketeers bar and listens to AC/DC. He is undecided on his future plans at this time. He'd like to tell his parents thanks for the support and for always pushing me. Travis Kaler. Next senior, number 17, John Borger. John is the son of Dean and Barbie Borger. He plays both linebacker and receiver. He has played Bronco football for 2 years, skipping a couple of seasons in between. In fact, his most cherished memory of Bronco football is that he was welcomed back like he had never left. Johnny loves listening to music before each game, and he would like each of his fellow teammates to look into the mirror after each game and ask yourself if you gave it your all. After high school, John has hopes to pursue a career in health care technology. To his parents, thank you for always having my back, teaching me right from wrong, and taking such good care of Newt and me. Johnny Borger. Next senior, number 35, Jackson Germain, son of Billy and Ashley Germain. Jackson plays linebacker and is also a running back. He has played Bronco football for 2 years with a couple-year break in between seasons. His favorite Bronco football memory is beating Two Harbors for the 2019 homecoming game. His advice for teammates is to enjoy it. It will go by way too fast. Jackson's other activities he's involved in include hunting, fishing, running track, and he is captain of the Bronco hockey team. Jackson's future plan is to attend college for law enforcement. To his parents, I love you guys, and thanks for everything. Jackson Jermaine. Next senior up, number 74, Captain Devin Reimer. Devin is the son of Desiree Arnold and Kurt Kennedy. He's a second-year lineman for the Bronco football team, also known as Big Dev, to his teammates. He carbo loads before each game. He wants his teammates to be smart and do their jobs. When not playing football, Devin enjoys playing the piano. After high school, Devin will be attending the Iron Range Engineering College. To his mom, I would like to thank my mother for her everlasting support and presence in my life. Devin Reimer. Number 5, senior captain Anthony Sorry, son of Chuck and Tracy Sorry. Anthony has been a football player for 8 years, plays the position of wide receiver and cornerback. His favorite memory is when Koshik got in a kid's face after a late hit. Sorry would like his teammates to work hard. It pays off. Before each game, Anthony gives Ringer a high five. Anthony's other activities also include captain of the Bronco hockey team, captain of the Bronco baseball team, and hanging with his friends. He plans on attending UMD after graduating from Falls High. To his parents, thanks for everything, especially the ibuprofen. Anthony Sorry. And captain, senior captain number 2, Jace Haleen. Jace is the son of Katrina and Jeff Haleen. Jace has played quarterback and defensive back throughout the past 8 years. His favorite memories are playing under the lights with his best friends. He'd also like his teammates to work hard and have fun. Jace also enjoys playing Bronco basketball during the winter sports season. Someday in his future, he hopes to play college football at a university. To his parents, thanks for everything and for keeping me in line. Jace Haleen. Next up, senior number 40, Noah Mathis. Noah is the son of Cheryl Pearson. To his teammates and coaches, he's known as Pumbaa. To the players, he has played Bronco football for 6 years. He plays running back and also on the defensive line. He wrestles for the Mighty Mustang wrestling team. Noah's favorite memory in Bronco football is beating Two Harbors for homecoming. His future plans are to attend college somewhere. Noah Mathis. And our last senior, nope, I take that back, 2 more left. Senior number 13, Jackson Scholes. Jackson is the son of Jay and Darcy Scholes, also known as Schultzy to his friends. His most played position as a Bronco football player is wide receiver. He's played football for 6 years, and his favorite memory playing for the Broncos is when they beat Two Harbors this year for their senior homecoming game. His advice to his teammates, go hard every play, you won't regret it. Jackson also enjoys hunting, fishing, running track, and plays on the Bronco hockey team. He's undecided of his future plans at this time, and to his parents, he'd like to say thank you for being there for me all the time, win or lose. Jackson Schultz. And finally, our last senior of the night, number 88, Connor Tominski. Connor is the son of Kelvin Nelson. Connor has played football for 9 years, but this is his first year playing Bronco football. He plays defensive end and fullback. He has a pregame ritual of eating Sammys. Connor's favorite memory of a Bronco football is the first away game bus ride home. In his spare time, Connor also enjoys hunting, ice fishing, and mudding. Ladies and gentlemen, your International Falls Bronco Football Seniors, 2019-20 season. And the Bronco football players would like a special thank you to
Congratulations
parents,
to our
and friends.
seniors, and at this time we are going to go to the interview I recorded with the assistant coach, Seth Edestead. Well, welcome to the pregame interview with assistant coach Seth Edestead. Coach, not as much fun as the interview we've got to do the last couple of weeks where we got to talk about wins and those kinds of things, but a 14-8 loss. What did you learn about your team, though?
Well,
honestly, and I did tell this to the kids, I still think we're the better team over Eveleth. And looking at some of the stats we had a lot of good things happen last Friday. More plays, more total yardage, more first downs. The list goes on, but it's the little things that we got to take care of. And especially at this point in the year, that'll make or break a team, and that's strictly turnovers and fumbles.
Turnovers and fumbles was a tough gig. Also, it was tough to throw the ball on Friday night with the wind and everything else. It just made the things much tougher. But I'd like to, in that same token, I'd like to give Eveleth a little credit because they said, look, it's going to be very difficult for you to throw the ball deep. You guys like to throw the short stuff. We're going to take that away from you, and they really did a good job of that.
They did. We ran a quick stick play, a quick hook play right away. Short pass into the wind. Thought it was a good call, and there was some traffic in Jace's way, and I did see his character kind of change after that point. He got nervous that we were eyeing up those short game passes. Well, we didn't have the long game, so that's why we ran the ball as much as we did. Northern Minnesota, you and I have talked about this in the past. The games, our strategies have to change as the weather does.
Yeah, and I think give Noah Mathis, man, did he run the ball really well on Friday night and made some big plays. And what I really liked was the yards after the contact. I know it's a big NFL term, but he had lots of yards after that first contact.
Big goal of the year, and proud of both Jermaine and him, and even Jace. They get into some traffic, they're able to escape through and keep those legs moving.
Let's move on. Let's talk about the Virginia Blue Devils. Another one of those games where I think you probably bring them. 0-7, but I suspect they aren't going to. We want to get the purple smoke. We can get the purple finale down in Virginia. A game that, well, your guys' defense, if I remember right, came up with 7 interceptions, beat them 42-21, and I think they'll have that on. And we're going to go to the starting lineups as they have gotten started here. So we'll give you the Virginia Blue Devil starters here on offense.
And starting as a third running back, number 35, Noah Neese. Your starting tackle tonight for the Virginia Blue Devils, number 55, Josh Stickney. The other starting tackle, number 61, Jonah Aluni. Starting center, number 69, Riley Krenz. Starting guard, number 72, Mason Cooley. Another starting guard, number 77, Ben Strukel. And another number change at tackle, number 51, Kyle Williams. The Blue Devils are coached by Matt Anderson. And here come your International Falls Broncos.
And, of course, we got the Broncos coming out here. We'll get their starting lineups here as soon as they break their huddle and get things going. Again, the 4-3 International Falls Broncos against the 0-7 Virginia Blue Devils coming up.
Starting at a corner, number 2, Captain Jace Helene. Starting at a safety, senior, number 5, Anthony Sorry. Starting at a safety, another senior, number 13, Jackson Scholes. At an outside linebacker, another senior, number 17, Johnny Borger. Starting at a corner, junior, number 27, Frank Koenig. At defensive end, junior, number 34, Riley Larson. And at your middle linebacker tonight, we have the senior, number 35, Jackson Gervais. At D-tackle, another senior, number 40, Noah Mathis. And another outside linebacker, senior, number 54, Travis Kaler. Defensive end, sophomore, number 58, Gavin Lovelace. And starting at defensive tackle, senior, number 74, Devin Reimer. Your Broncos are coached by John Bromke, Jared Koschik, Seth Edisted, Jake Edisted, Seth Bjornrud, Cody Helene. Referees for tonight's game are Rob Geving, Kevin Gesslinger, Steve Geving, Pat Madiri, Jeremiah Johnson. At this time, please like you to ask to stand, and we're going to take a moment of silence to recognize ESCO football player, sophomore Jackson Pfister, who tragically passed away last Friday night at a high school football game. Thank you. Now please rise, face the flag. Gentlemen, please remove your hats as our Falls High School Band, led by Michelle Bolk, will honor us tonight by playing the national anthem.
Fine job there by the Falls High Band. We are ready for football, folks. You looked out at the field during the appearance night and everything else. You can see the near sideline is a mess. Hopefully they'll get that fixed next summer with some new drain tile. But George, we haven't given you a chance to talk yet. Keys of the game tonight for a Bronco win.
I think as I was watching the guys being introduced, the key for this game is like most of the other ones, Gavin Lovelace and Travis Kaler. They contain those ends. Virginia's in for a long day.
I think the big thing last week, Broncos fumbled the ball 3 times and they lost to Evelyn 14-8. Very muddy field here tonight. Broncos have to find some way to make sure they can hang on to the football, take care of business. And the other thing I think they can do, and this would really help, score early. Virginia's 0-7. Don't give them any hope. Put them away early if you can and take that hope away from them, and things will take care of themselves after that.
Well, and Virginia wants to play their best game. This is the end of the season, and they're preparing for playoffs too. And so, you know, they want to come across and get a good. I remember a couple of years ago, we held Virginia 6-0 at halftime, and we had a chance to win. That was about all the hope we had in those days.
Sure.
And so this could be a good game.
We'll see what happens here. The Broncos are going to receive, go right to left across your TV screen or your tablet or computer or phone or whatever else you're watching us on tonight. We're happy to have you along here on kcc-tv.org or Facebook or YouTube or even on Midco Channel 7. We're happy to have you along. I got a couple of nice comments on the way in tonight that they really are enjoying it, and they said, and the picture is amazing. The picture is amazing. So we're getting ready here, and looks like getting ready to kick off, of course, is going to be a number 1. This is Cole Schaefer. He's number 12 on your score sheet possibly, George, and he's got a different number.
Oh,
so,
yeah, I noticed that last week.
And back deep, Tucker Hell and Tristan Thompson, they've been back there most of the season, and they are back there again tonight. Darcy, could we turn down that crowd mic just a little bit, please? And we are ready to get the final regular season game underway. Here's the kick deep, and it's taken at the 20-yard line there by number 24. This is Diego Christian. This is Brian Kading. He gets up across the 40-yard line, and then he is taken down hard there by number 34, Jack Burris. And so we'll get the kickoff of about 40 yards and a return of 22 yards. Great field position to start off for the Broncos.
You know, I take a look at right around the 40-yard line. This reminds me of mud wrestling. It's, it is that thick. It is that deep.
We're going to see two teams that are going to both run the spread. The Virginia will run more with wings rather than slots like you see with the Broncos here. As they go too wide, they're going to motion two trips to the far side of the field. This is going to be Helene going off the right side. Gets to about the line of scrimmage and then meets some resistance there and then falls forward for a gain of about 3 yards on the play. So the Broncos will have 2nd and 7 following that run there by Mr. Helene. And of course the Broncos, who have gone no huddle the entire season, will look to stay in that mode right here. The rain has stopped, the mist has stopped, but the field is wet. We'll see how the Broncos, they'll motion out to a no back. This is going to lean right up the middle. 45, breaks to the outside. 50, he's into this long near sideline, and he's finally going to be pushed out of bounds about the 38-yard line. For a moment there, George, I got a little excited. I thought he might find a lane and go all the way.
It was almost there.
It will be a gain there of, let's see, 6 and 13 makes 19 yards, I believe, there, George. So 1st and 10 for the Broncos in Virginia territory at the 37-yard line. And so the Broncos have put the ball in what we have said most of the season, George, the best running back that the team has. They put it in his hands the first 2 plays, and he's got 22 yards on the ground.
Well, that's been the dilemma all year because he's our passing quarterback, but he runs the ball so well.
Helene puts Sari in motion. They hand it off to him wide. Gets a little bit of an angle, gets to the 35, tried to bounce it to the outside, but he'll be taken down there by number 9 is Tuchel and Miguin. So again, we'll call it a gain of 2 yards, George. It'll bring up a 2nd and 8 for the Broncos at the Virginia 35-yard line. We're just underway here for the and I could even be turned up a little bit too, Darcy, if you could. Oh, there's much better. Thank you. Perfect. For me.
You might not need to turn on his mic. You might just need to turn on his headphones.
Yes, he did. That's exactly what. There's a pass out to Schultz in the flat, and he is going to be met right there by Cole Schaefer for no gain on the first pass attempt of the game, which will be complete. And we'll see they're going to put him right back at the 35-yard line. So no gain. It'll bring up 3rd and 8 for the Broncos at the Virginia 35-yard line. Again, the first series, 10-15 or so and counting remaining in this first quarter. First series of the game if you're just joining us here on KCC TV. Helene ready to take the shotgun snap from a new center this week. Good snap there. Helene throws across the flat, and oh, a big being held there. I thought there comes
I thought maybe
no flag, but Borger looked like he was being held. It's going to be an incomplete pass, and it'll bring up 4th and 8. And your new center for the Broncos is number 65, Cameron Schultz, and they've moved Loveless back out to the tackle this week, George. So we'll see how that changes things as the Broncos now looking at 4th and long. Good start to this drive, but now they've bogged down a little bit. And we'll see what comes up on 4th and 8. I would think he might be looking for number 34 with a pass. In motion comes Noah. Mathis looking across the middle, looking for Larson, and it is going to be intercepted. And it is intercepted. And he would have been well to let that one drop to the ground there, number 11, Braden Sepola. But so a loss of, almost 25 yards of field position there on the interception. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Virginia at their own, well, we'll call it, yeah, it looks like it is right on the 10-yard line. So 25 yards of field position. That could come in handy.
A nice little punt.
Nice little punt. We'll take that.
Yeah.
So here comes 1st and 10 for the Blue Devils. They send a receiver to the far side of the field. A tight end and a wing to the near side. The wing on the far side goes in motion, looking to run off tackle here. This is going to be number 35, Neese. He breaks one tackle, and then he's smashed to the ground there by number 17, Borger, and come out from behind. And then number 27, that is Koenig, that was also there on the tackle. And so the first play of the game for the Virginia Blue Devils gives them 9 yards, and it'll be 2nd and 1 for the Blue Devils from their own 19-yard line. They're going to huddle up here.
Yeah, Koenig took a hit on the kickoff, and you can't see his numbers right now.
I had to wait for him to turn around to be sure that it was him.
7, yeah.
Same formation for the Blue Devils. A couple guys maybe in motion there, and they're going to get to the outside, and Lovelace smells that out and takes him down. Looks like for a loss of a couple of yards maybe on that play. We'll see where we'll call it a loss of a yard for the Blue Devils. And so we'll bring up 3rd and 2 from the 18-yard line. Good play there by Lovelace on that play. Another motion play. This is the fullback right up the middle, and he's going to get enough, I believe, for the first down. Riley Larson was there. Also number 54, Travis Kaler, and 27, Koenig in on the play, but I believe that it's enough for the first down. We'll give him a gain of 3 yards. And the Virginia Blue Devils get that first down of the game. Good spot for them. 3 running plays so far, and they are going to huddle up here. Got up to the line of scrimmage, trying to keep the Broncos honest, I think. Now they'll split out with 2 receivers. Seppala comes to the near side. He'll stay with the 2 wings, put a wing in motion. Ball's on the ground, and the Blue Devils will recover it on the handoff. The exchange between the quarterback, Toman, and I believe number 35, Neese, the fullback. Not a good exchange there, and the loss of about, all right, gotta see where they put that football down at. Looks like a loss of 5 yards, George. Bring up 2nd and 15.
That's good.
That's good. That's good. In motion. Here comes pass, looking over the middle. Now some pressure. Ducks out of there, does Toman. And then his pass is going to be incomplete. And putting the pressure on there was Gavin Lovelace of the International Falls Broncos from his defensive end position. So 3rd and long now coming up for the Blue Devils from the 16-yard line. So this is one of those plays where if you're the Minnesota Vikings, you might put in a screen, you might put in a draw to number 33. A little bit fun to watch last weekend against the Eagles. Here they come with
sure was.
2 split ends, 2 wings here. Motion across the formation, now trips. Little play action pass, quarterback looking to go off tackle, and the Broncos had that smelled out. Riley Larson and Gavin Wilson both there, I believe, to come up with the tackle. Short run for the Blue Devils. And it'll be no gain, actually, George. So 4th and 15, a punting situation coming up. Brian Koenig drops deep for the Falls. He's going to stand on the Virginia 45-yard line. Waiting for the punt from Schaefer. Little high snap. Pressure, and the punt is away. It's a short one to the near sideline. It's going to land about the 28, take a Virginia roll, and come to rest at the 35-yard line. So it's a punt of 20 yards, and the Broncos will start with outstanding field position at the Virginia Blue Devil 35-yard line. 35-yard line. So as tradition, Jackson Germain now will become the running back in the backfield alongside quarterback Jay Saline. Him and Noah usually alternate series when they're early in the game like this. 2 wide receivers to each side. Ball on the near hash. 7.5 minutes remaining. No score here between the Broncos and the Blue Devils. Handoff to Jermaine up the middle. Tiptoes, tries to change direction, and then he's hit hard there by number 77, Ben Strukel. It's going to be a gain of a couple of yards for number 35. We'll call it a game to 2, and we'll call it 2nd and 8 from the Virginia 33. Helene looks to the sideline. Everybody looks to the sideline to get the play call. 2 wide receivers each side. Jermaine to the right of Helene. Helene takes a snap. This is right up the middle. There's no deception there, and it's going to be no gain. As coming up on the tackle is Ryan Manninen for the Blue Devils, being very aggressive on that play. It'll be no gain for Helene. And 3rd and 8 here coming up for the Broncos from the Blue Devil 33-yard line. That's the quickest I've seen him go. He almost didn't even wait for Jermaine to get in front of him. He thought maybe he saw a crease there.
Yeah, maybe he did, but it was a quick draw.
3rd and 8. Helene drops back to pass. Looks down to the outside, over the head of Borger, and it's well over his head and incomplete.
Pass falls incomplete.
So 4th and 8 here, and the Broncos see what they can come up with here. They're going to go trips to the far side of the field, so no punting here, which I had assumed was
No, they weren't
from
gonna
the
do that.
35-yard line. But it is 4th and 8. The Broncos need 8 after the great field position started to be ashamed to let that go by the wayside here. 3 receivers to the far side. Jermaine now to the left side. Larson, the sole receiver. He's open down the far sideline, near sideline. He changes it, and he comes up with it at the 5-yard line. He adjusted in the air, and he comes up with that pass, and Cousins
He has
connect there.
he has a double turn where he looks on the inside and it curls around to the outside. And I know they practice that, and they nail him all the time.
Put the ball at the 5-yard line. That's a gain of 28 yards for the Broncos on 4th and 8, and it's 1st and goal from the Virginia 5-yard line. And they are going to say the 6-yard line, and it might be just a shade outside the 5. 2 running backs in the backfield. Helene hands it off to Mathis. He turns up the middle, and boy, that hole closed down, but he's driving. Touchdown? Oh, just short. Just short. I thought I saw 2 hands go up in the air. We'll call it a gain of 4.
We'll call it 2nd and goal from the 2-yard line.
They're going to say at the 2-yard line, so we'll go along with that. Pretty tough to tell from this angle. We'll call 2nd and goal from the 2-yard line. Broncos are going to go 2 tight ends, a wing, couple of running backs, I-backs in the backfield. Jermaine, the deep back, Helene under center. He fumbles it, and he recovers it. No, Virginia says they have it. And let's see what the officials say.
Oh, you got it.
Falls down on top of that football.
Fumble is not lost by the Broncos, so it'll be a loss of a yard on that play. And it'll bring up 3rd and goal from the 3-yard line. So now they go back to the shotgun. More traditional. They put in motion Jermaine to the outside. This is going to be Helene going off tackle, and he's going to come up short. And they'll get that yard back, and now it's 4th and goal from the 2-yard line for the Broncos. Almost, George, I think I'd like to call a timeout here.
Yeah,
get everybody
maybe you should.
settled down and get everybody on the same page. I just don't know. They've tried just about everything. They've thrown some motion at them. They've shown everything else. This is a big play right here in this game. Broncos need to push it in here. 4th and goal from the 2-yard line. Helene gets everybody straightened away. In the shotgun, puts Jermaine in motion. This is going to be Helene right up the middle, and I think he's going to come up short, and he does not get there. He's going to come up a yard short, and the turnover on downs. And the Blue Devils will take over 1st and 10 from the 1-yard line. He got within a yard or so, but not into the end zone. I think Virginia was expecting that, and they played it very well.
Virginia's playing really well. They're coming out physically very hard, very strong on defense. And that's the key for them. They have to do this.
Maybe the first safety of the season here, George.
You never
Quarterback
know.
under center. He's going to go quarterback sneak. He's going to get maybe a yard and a half. My guess, as I look at the near official, I'm going to say a yard on that carry. He's going to bring up 2nd and 9 from the 2. So even the Blue Devils, who are back on their 1-yard line, say, hey, we're not going to stay in that shotgun. We're going to go to the
Haven't seen any quarterback sneaks in a while.
yeah. They're actually going to call it no gain, so keep it 2nd and 10, George, from the 1-yard line. As the Blue Devils bring 2 wide receivers to the near side, 1 to the far side. They are going to go to shotgun on this play. In motion, 1 of the wings coming to the near side, and Gavin Wilson. Is that a safety?
Put the thump. I think it might be.
No, he is just outside. I look at the near linesman, and it is very close. He got just out of there, but Gavin Wilson right there on the play. And so we'll bring up 3rd and 10 from the 1-yard line.
Half a yard on the play. Bring up 3rd. Very long catch.
Larson played it well over there. So did number 77, Gavin Wilson.
Who was the ball carrier on that one?
That was, I believe, Ryan Scherf. Number 19 was the running back on that last play. This is the fullback right up the middle, Neese, and he's going to be brought down near the goal line once again. Let's see if the official says he got out of the end zone. And it is not Neese. I thought it was the fullback that got that. So it's, again, no gain. And I actually am going to say that
I think that was Nice. 35?
Yeah, he looked like he was standing there at the end of the pile, so I'm gonna say that it couldn't have been him. So was the quarterback. Thank you, Tolman. So here the Blue Devils from their own end zone here, going to be snapping it from the 1 yard line, so not even the depth that the punter normally gets. Will the Broncos come after it? And the ref, no, Virginia is going to take the safety, intentionally stepped out of bounds so that they can kick it from the 20 yard line. Very interesting call, George.
And it wasn't a bad call at all. I mean, otherwise they were going to be playing down there in the mud hole for the rest of the period, rest of the quarter, and it was.
So the safety conceded. The Broncos take a 2-0 lead. I got to say that I'm going to have to say that a lot because you don't get to say that a lot of times.
No, you don't.
In a football game. 2-0 here with 2:47 remaining in the first quarter. So now that will allow a free kick here for the Blue Devils. So this is essentially a kickoff, folks, if you aren't familiar with the rules, but they'll kick off from the 20-yard line. They can punt it or kick it. Either one. Looks like they're going to punt it here, Schaefer. But the Broncos have to remember, and the big thing on this is a live football. This is a kickoff, and so you got to play it. Even though he might be punting the ball, you've got to play this as a live ball and make sure you get everything covered up. Broncos should get good field position out of this. Again, Thompson and held deep. And, of course, they're used to fielding kickoffs, not punts. So it'll be interesting to see how they play this. They are going back very, very deep. I don't know if they realize.
First safety of the year?
First safety of the year, yes. As far as my recollection,
yes, I don't remember.
So Schaefer ready to kick this off. Again, he will punt it, which is perfectly legal. And the kick is on the way. Nice high boomer. This ball's going to come down at about the 44-yard line, bounce in front of Christensen, and he'll just fall on it. He made the right choice. And so the Broncos will start 1st and 10 from their own 45-yard line. And like I said, very wise choice by Diego just to get on top of that ball. No sense messing around with a wet football.
No.
So the Broncos will start 1st and 10 from their own 45. Ball on the far hash. Mathis, the running back, in the backfield with Helene. The receivers on the near side are going to be Sari and Larson. This is a handoff to Mathis, right up the middle. He fumbled the football, and the Blue Devils have recovered it, I believe.
No, the Broncos got it.
Somehow the Broncos got that back.
They dodged
There
it.
did not
Looks
look
like
like
Gavin Wilson dropped on it.
Did not look like there was a. Okay, Jay Boyle's telling us, cameraman says the Virginia guy had it squirted out, and then the Broncos recovered it. Fortunately for the Broncos, it'll be a loss of 2 yards on the play, and it'll bring up 2nd and 12 for the Broncos. Broncos will go with the trip bunch. Virginia adjusting to it. Helene rolling out, now under a little bit of pressure. Fakes the pass, then pulls down and pulls the ball down. Gets to the 45, drives forward. He'll be brought down at the 48, a gain of 5 yards on 2nd and 12. We'll bring up 3rd and 7 now for the Broncos. And the Blue Devils have been able to close down on Helene. He got that one big run on the second play of the game, but he's having a hard time escaping out there and doing some of the things we've seen the rest of the year.
Yeah, these cornerbacks are playing real well.
3 receivers to the far side. Helene, 3rd and 7, drops back. Looks in the flats, now looks deep down the far side. Looking for, who is that? Borger had it, fumbled it, and I believe the Blue Devils have recovered. And the official says yes, they have. So the pass is complete to Borger, and then he fumbles it at about the 30-yard line. So 22 yards on the completion, but then the turnover on the fumble lost, and that is the, I'm just going to count this up, make sure I got that. That's the 4th time the Broncos have put the ball on the ground, and the first time they are going to lose the handle on it. So the Blue Devils will start 1st and 10 from their own 30-yard line. 2 wide receivers, 1 to each side, 2 wings, and the running back in the backfield. Motion back. It's like a handoff to the fullback, and there's Gavin Wilson all over number 35, Neese, along with Noah Mathis as they drive him back, and that's going to be a loss.
Yeah, Neese barely got the ball in his hands before they got nailed with that.
And it's a loss of 2 yards on the play. So 2nd and 12 coming up for the Blue Devils. So we'll see what the Blue Devils decide to do here on 2nd and 12. Drop back to pass. Throw the slant, and out of the reach of number 11, Braden Seppala. And so it'll bring up 3rd and 12 from their own 28-yard line. 53 seconds remaining in this first quarter, and so really no wind here tonight.
No, it's a fine
That's a
night.
blessing, because after all the wind we got last Friday night in Eveleth, I was froze. It was a chilly night. Although Eli he manned up. He did a good job in the cold and kept busy.
That kid will be something when he's 18.
3rd and 12 here. One receiver to the far side of the field. A tight end and a wing to the near side. As we get the football dried off, that's important at this time. They'll set her down about the 28-yard line. Shotgun here for the quarterback, Tolman. Takes the snap, drops back, looks left, pumps, now throws down the far sideline, and that is well out of bounds. And so incomplete. So a punting situation coming up here for the Blue Devils. So we'll see if Cephala booms this one away. I see number 27, Brian Kadings, drops back to about his 40-yard line. Yeah, with the wind being no factor, I don't think it matters which way you're going with the ball, whether you're going east or west.
No.
In this,
He's equally wet.
it is equally wet going either way. Umpire drying the ball off as they got two gunners on the outside to the Blue Devils. And again, this is Schaefer back to punt. Good snap. Just gets it away. And the ball is going to land up at midfield, take a Virginia roll, and it'll come to rest at the 40-yard line, where the Broncos will take over after the 32-yard punt. This game is brought to you in part by KCC TV, Couchiching County Community Television, Cable Channel 7, and if you'd like to be, we saw a flag, a little legal procedure. What will the Broncos decide to do here? I did not see the flag down on the far side of the field.
I did not either.
We'd like to thank our members and sponsors for their continued support of our station, and for those of you that have made those donations in the past few weeks, we appreciate that. We thank you. We also would like to see more people be able to do that, so we can bring you more Bronco events over the coming weeks. So we will re-punt the ball here after the penalty on the Blue Devils. That's the first penalty of this football game. So put the football back on the 23-yard line. 4th and 17 now for the Blue Devils. Kading stands on the 46-yard line of the Broncos, awaiting this punt. Snap was a little high, catches it one hand, just gets it away. Tried to sell the contact there, but the referee says, no, I don't think so. And the Broncos have a player down. And I'm going to tell you, George, I think he just got kicked in the guts, because that's how close it was to blocking that punt. And I cannot tell you who that was. But the ball's going to be marked at the 34-yard line, so that's a field position change of, from the 40 to the 34. That's a 26-yard change, George. That is significant.
That is significant.
And
the
I'm
Broncos,
not sure.
they've had great field position all night long.
Great field position. And this number 54, Travis Kaler, who took, I think, the kick to the stomach, or possibly a little lower. We'll see. He's up and walking off the field, which is always a good sign. When you get 3 coaches out there, or 2 coaches and a doctor, that must tell you how many. That's the
Travis
important
Kaler is so tough that they figure if he's down, they might need a lot of help.
They might need a lot of help. So the Broncos will start 1st and 10 at the Devils' 34. Paul Harder will come in and play the right tackle now for the Broncos as Travis comes to the sideline. 31 seconds remaining in the first quarter. They're going to come with quads. 4 receivers to the near side of the field. 1 receiver and Jackson Schultz to the far side. Helene all by himself in the backfield. This is going to be a run right up the middle. And the Blue Devils say, no, I don't think you can run that play anymore. We've got that thing smelled out. It's a loss of 2 yards for the Broncos. And it's going to bring up 2nd and 12. The Broncos could decide here whether they want to let this clock run out. And I think they are going to. Well, maybe not. They're going to stay with the 4 receivers. Kaler back in the game. Harder comes back out. 5 seconds remaining. Will they get this off? They will. Helene throws it in the flat. Complete to Larson. Got to break a tackle. Breaks 1, 2, 3, 30. And he's going to be brought down on the final play of the quarter. But what a run there by number 34, Riley Larson, as he picks up 7 tough yards on the play. And then when we come back with the second quarter, The Broncos will have 3rd and 5 from the Blue Devils' 29-yard line.
Gutsy kid, a gutsy run.
Good run.
Put it on Robert's camera and I'll switch batteries. Good.
Well, as we come back for the second quarter, the Broncos will have that 3rd and about 7 yards. Yeah, we'll call it at the 29-yard line. 3rd and 5 here for the Broncos from the 29-yard line. A long 5, 2 wide receivers to each side. The Broncos a player short. No, they got 5 wide receivers. Got away with an illegal procedure. Helene now rolling to his right. Going to pull it down. 30. Makes a move at the 27, and he'll be brought down near the 25. The Broncos are going to be about 1.5 yards short of the first down, and they'll bring up 4th and 1.5 for the Broncos. We'll call it a gain of 3, George.
Those yards are coming hard for Jace tonight.
He has. The Virginia been very wise, and almost like they've got somebody spying on them there, George.
Yeah.
2 running backs in the backfield. Tight end to the far side in Larson. Helene got the offside call.
Oh.
Got him with the hard count.
Classic.
Aaron Rodgers.
Oh.
So that'll be a first down for the Broncos at the 21-yard line.
Oh.
So, boy, that's a tough one for the Blue Devils. He kind of holed up and think he got a chance, and so now the Broncos will go 3 receivers to the far side, 2 receivers to the far side, 2 to the near side. Jermaine, the running back in the backfield. Broncos leading it 2-0. In motion, low snap. Helene picks it up, throws it in the flat to Schultz. He catches it, and it'll be a loss of about 1 yard, but that was probably better than the alternative
Yeah,
of
it
possibly
certainly
losing
was.
10, which where it was looked like it was going to be going. So 2nd and 11 for the Broncos. See what the Broncos decide to do. Again, new center tonight in Cameron Schultz. He's done a good job up to that last snap. And with the how wet the ball is and everything that's going on, no blame there. It's going to happen once or twice in this game. Helene takes the snap, hands this off to Jermaine up the middle, breaks a tackle at the line of scrimmage. Going to have a gain of about 4 yards. He maybe fumbled that ball at the end, but they are going to say that he was down. It's going to be a gain of 5, we'll call it, George. Well, I think they said he was down, I believe, and we're still wrestling over the football. And the Virginia players want it to be their ball, and the umpire saying what? I don't know what he's saying yet. He's saying that he's down by contact.
Yeah.
So 3rd and 6 coming up for the Broncos. Well, now they're going to mark them back closer to the 19-yard line. Man, I thought I had them down by the 17. So
is this 2nd down here?
So this will be 3rd down, right? There was the loss of a yard. It should be 3rd down. We'll call it 7 yards for the Broncos. Helene puts Borger in motion. Trips to the far side now. This is going to be a run. Helene going off the far side. Pulls the ball down. 15, breaks a tackle. 10, and he's inside the 10-yard line before he's pushed out of bounds. It'll be a first down for the Broncos and goal. So we'll see where they put him out of bounds at. Looks about on the 6-yard line. They're going to put it right at the 5. It's a gain of 13. So 1st and goal for the Broncos from the 5-yard line. And you might recall in the first quarter, George, the Broncos had 1st and goal at the 5 and did not get in. So they're going to bring 2 running backs in. Anthony Sari comes to the sideline when they do that. Larson, the lone receiver on the far side. Schultz and Borger to the near side of the field. Ball on the far hash. Helene takes the snap, drops back, looks to the far near corner, looking for Schultz, and intercepted. I can't tell. The official has not said. And it is intercepted. And so the Blue Devils, for the second time, with the Broncos having first and goal, have stopped the Broncos, and Virginia will take over 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Wow.
Wow.
What a change of fortunes there, as the score remains 2-0 here in the beginning of this second quarter. Just got to walk through there just to test it out, right? See if it was really there or not. Those graduated seniors, you just never know what they're going to do. 1st and 10 coming up here for the Blue Devils. Tight end on the near side and a wing. Dropping back to pass is Tolman. Looks on the flat, and that is going, or on the slant, excuse me, and that is incomplete. So bring up 2nd and 10. The numbers for the Virginia jerseys are getting a little muddy, George.
They are, and that's.
I told the coaches, I said, who could possibly run the ball in this game? Just so at least I can make a guess on who's getting the ball. Hewinen is the wing on the near side. On the far side is Scherf. Chopping back to pass is Tolman. He looks in the flat. Caught the, no, dropped right in the hands there of Seppala, and then went right through his hands. And so it'll bring up 3rd and 10 now for the Blue Devils from their own 20-yard line. And I got to think that the Blue Devils coaches like the matchup out there with Seppala against Koenig. There must be almost a 10-inch difference out there, George.
He's about 6'3", he looks from here, and, you know, good-sized kid.
Good-sized kid, although he comes out of the game now. It's ran to the sideline out there. This is number 1 to the far sideline now. It's Schaefer. Tight end in the wing. This is Hewinen going in motion. They are going to try to run a reverse, and the Broncos are all over that. First one there was Gavin Wilson, and then joined in there by Borger as Scherf was brought down for a loss. We'll call it a loss of a yard on the play. And it'll bring up 4th and 11 for the Blue Devils from their own 19-yard line. Koenig drops back to receive the punt of Schaefer. Broncos again should get great field position after this punt. Just leading 2-0 here on a safety as the punter stepped out of the back of the end zone as they were backed up inside their own 1-yard line. Snap, a little bit to the right, getting it away. Kick is going to drop at the 40 and roll dead at about the 45-yard line, a punt of 26 yards. And the Broncos start in Virginia territory at the 45-yard line. Broncos had got close to that punt.
Yeah,
but,
they did. In
but
fact, the punter fell down. I don't know if that was an axe job or whatever it was.
I'm not sure if he was trying to embellish that
the
one a little bit.
referee was watching it right there. He didn't go for
Well,
it.
and I think Kaler was a little leery about getting kicked again, so he didn't quite go after it as hard, and everybody else just kind of laid back a little bit and let that one go away. So the Broncos 1st and 10 from their own 45. Mathis, the running back in the backfield, 2 wide receivers each side. In motion comes Sari. There's a handoff to Mathis right up the middle, and there is just no running room in the middle of this Virginia Blue Devil defense. The Broncos have tried over and over again. It just is not there. It's going to be a short gain of a yard here for the Broncos on the run by Mathis. 2nd and a long 9 as the Broncos are at the 44-yard line. 3 receivers to the near side of the formation. Riley Larson all by himself on the far side. Helene takes the snap, drops back, looks in the near flat. Now he's pressured. Now he'll run. 45, 40, makes a move, and then he's hit hard at about the 37-yard line there by number 34. That's Jake Burris, and number 19, Ryan Scherf, on the hit. We're going to call it a gain of 7, and 3rd and 2 now coming up for the Broncos at the Blue Devil 37. 3 receivers now going to the far side of the formation. Mathis will stand to the right of Helene. Cameron Schultz, the center today, grabs hold of the ball. They put Borger in motion. And we've got somebody moved, I think, for the Broncos a little bit early. No, offside on the Blue Devils.
Ooh.
Whew. There's a first down for the Broncos And that is the second Blue Devil offside penalty on a short yardage situation and gives the Broncos a first down. So a change of fate there.
That's Virginia's third penalty of the night. They haven't been small, but they've all been crucial.
So 3 wide receivers now to the near side. Larson all by himself out on an island, and that is Schaefer who is guarding him out there one-on-one. Sari goes in motion across the formation. Helene had it, fumbled it. Now he's going to chuck it down the far side. Larson is open. No, this is Sari open. Did he come up with it? Yes, he did. Inside the 10-yard line. It's going to be a gain of 23 yards on the play. So the Broncos have first and goal at the 9-yard line. We'll call it the 8-yard line, actually, George. First and goal at the 8. 24 yards on that pass completion to Sari. Broncos first and goal for the third time in this game. You have yet to score a touchdown. Mathis catches in the flat, stumbles inside the 5, brought down about the 2.5-yard line.
Oh, he was about 2 feet off the ground when he finally went down, and very difficult to tackle. He had a full head.
We'll call it a gain of 5. Second and goal from the 3-yard line coming up for the Broncos. Broncos looking to get their first touchdown of the game here as they lead it 2-0. Mathis goes in motion to the far side. Helene right up the middle. He's into the end zone. Touchdown. Near official says touchdown, and the Broncos lead it by a score of 8-0. So 3 yards on the touchdown run by Helene. So 7:03 remaining here in the second quarter, and the Broncos move up by a score of 8-0. 2 points. Sounds pretty good here to get up by 10. Two scores.
That would be fine.
3 receivers? No. Yeah, well, 3 receivers. Schultz is the tight end. Helene's going to go under center. No, he's not. Now he's going to stay in the shotgun. Going to roll out to the near side. Pitches it to Mathis. Mathis has a guy wide open in the end zone, but was being pressured there by Scherf and couldn't throw it. Sari was all alone in the back of the end zone. So the Broncos are going to go 45 yards in 5 plays, and they lead it by a score of 8-0, or 8-0, yes. Get that right in my head. I was going to say no, 6-0. And the Broncos lead by a full score here, and we'll see number 13, I assume, Jackson Schultz come out to kick this ball off. The Broncos just don't seem to, is it the Broncos offense that seems to be struggling, or is it the Virginia Blue Devils defense that's playing so well?
Oh, I think that they got number 76 out there on the nose for Virginia, and he's a mountain, and he's causing a lot of commotion. So any of these short gainers, he's plugging it up real good. But I tell you right now, Bronco defense is really playing well. They're just, Virginia's getting nothing out of this bunch, and like I said.
I just got an update from Southridge. North Stars 30, Southridge 0.
Ooh.
Holy cow, wouldn't have guessed that tonight for the North Stars, who are looking to go to 8-0 on the season, and look like after Stephen Argyle lost last night, there won't be anybody less than a 3-loss team other than the North Stars out in Section 8-9, man. And so for the Broncos, it will be Schultz getting ready to kick it off. And I'm going to guess 14 and 19 deep for the Blue Devils. It's tough to tell. I'm going to say it's Scherf and Huinen that are back there as Schultz kicks it off. This ball will come down, and slipping and falling there is going to be Scherf, but he picks it up about the 23-yard line. No, this is Huinen, and he lays on the brakes, skids, and then we get a late flag. And Huinen. So we'll see what happens here. And
face mask?
Did he that's what I thought he wow. You don't usually get those on a block against the offense. So will they mark this off from the 30-yard line? I believe. Well, wait a second. Now you got to mark off the penalty, don't you? Or so they're saying a 5-yard penalty back to the 31. Is that what's?
Apparently a 5-yard face mask.
Right.
Must have been a non-intentional.
So the Blue Devils, first and 10 from the 31. Fake to Huinen? No, he's got the ball, and he is swallowed up there by the Broncos in the backfield. And that is going to be Wilson and Larson there on the tackle.
Gavin Wilson's putting on pretty good hit and wrap clinic here tonight.
He's doing a very nice job. It's going to be a loss of 3 yards for the Blue Devils back to their own 28-yard line. Getting my scorebook all dolled up here. So, second and 12 for the, or second and 13, excuse me, for the Blue Devils. Tolman takes the snap, jots back, throws it in the flat, caught there by Schaefer. And he's brought down by Anthony Sari on the tackle after the completion of, no, that is Helene, excuse me.
Yes, it is.
About 7 yards on the completion. And it'll bring up 3rd and 6 for the Blue Devils at their own 35-yard line. A little simple out there. You like to see those kind of routes run.
Was that number 14?
That was number 1, Schaefer, that actually caught that ball, I believe. 2 wide receivers, 1 to each side. Tolman in the shotgun. Drops back to pass. Looks in the flat and then pulls it back down. Now being pressured. Throws deep, and that is going to be incomplete. And boy, a big hit there by Borger, I believe, on Tolman, the quarterback. And I was looking for a possible flag. None is thrown. And Broncos put the pressure on there, and they get the result. It's going to be 4th and 6, and another punting situation for the Blue Devils. Last punt by Schaefer was a 26-yarder. So, well, I would say Koenig sitting about the right distance away at the 40-yard line. Field getting tore up worse and worse, George. I can't even believe it. It's just unbelievable. Snap's a good one. Kick is away. Ball's going to come down about the 44-yard line, bounce sideways, and it'll be tagged down right there. It'll be a punt of about 19 yards. And the Broncos start with pretty good field position, up 8-0 at their own 44-yard line. When you get those 3 and out, George, it doesn't seem like the offense was off the field for very long.
No, and they're not. Of course, a lot of these guys are going both ways anyway.
So it does not matter.
No.
So Helene, I think they're going to go up top. I got a feeling they're going to see if they can get one deep here on 1st and 10. We'll see if my feeling is correct. Helene with Jermaine in the backfield. In motion goes Borger. They're going to hand it off to Borger. He slips in the backfield, gets back to the line of scrimmage, and then we've got a late flag from the referee. So hold the phone and see what the referee's got going on in his mind. As he comes up, puts the flag down at the 43-yard line. He says it's a hold on the Broncos. So it'll be a penalty of 11 yards coming up here on the Broncos. Their first penalty of the game, and it'll bring up 1st and 21 for the Broncos at their own 33-yard line. Coach Seth Edestead told me we're going to change that jet look a little bit. We're going to get the guy a little bit deeper, and we'll just call it a loss of 10 yards. So they marked it off from the 44, so it'll be 1st and 20 from the 34-yard line. He got a good angle at it, but a little holding in the line. 3 receivers to the near side, 2 to the far side. Helene all by himself in the backfield. Throws it across the middle, caught there by Sari. No, wait, fumble. Referee gets ran into the umpire. That was Riley Larson that had it. Are they going to call it a complete pass and a fumble?
I think it's going to be incomplete pass.
Whoa, no, they're calling it a complete pass and a fumble. And the Broncos recovered it, so. Well, which way is it going to be now, guys? You can't. They're making me work here, folks.
Yes,
it is an
are.
incomplete pass. So 2nd and 20 for the Broncos. 3 receivers to the near side, 2 again to the far side. Helene, this is going to be a run up the middle. Gets through the linebacker level. Could be a race for the end zone. 40. Diving for him. He's gone, folks. Touchdown, International Falls Broncos. 66 yards on the run, and the Broncos lead it by a score of 14-0. So nearly 2 minutes after they scored the first touchdown of the game, the Broncos have their second one on a 66-yard touchdown run by Jace Helene. Seth Edestead kept going back to that play, It finally broke big.
Well, it did. And you know, like you say, he's the best running back of the bunch, and he has the breakaway speed to do that.
And they had a couple of guys nip at his heels, but he was able to high step out of them and get into the end zone. Helene takes the low snap, picks it up, throws it in the flat, and that will be knocked down. And well, that play started out bad. It didn't really end up going very good. But the Broncos lead it by a score of 14-0. George, I'm trying to decide if the Broncos are dominating this game, hanging in this game. I mean, they're up 14-0,
The
but
defense is controlling the game. That comes as no surprise to either one of us, especially on a wet field like this. Until they start figuring out a way to make the edge, complete a pass, they're going to dominate Virginia the rest of the game.
yeah, and I think Virginia has found out that they're probably not going to be able to run the ball on the Broncos right now. They almost seem like they have kind of sold themselves out that they're going to have to try to throw it.
Have to pass, yeah.
And as a defensive lineman, you love to see that because now pin my ears back and here we go.
Those Broncos are really quick and they love to rush the passer. Especially in all these pistol offenses, you can see them right there.
Exactly.
All you got to do is go get them. Easy said than done.
Jackson Schultz will kick it off here for the Broncos, leading 14-0 with 5:04 remaining in this first half.
By the way, that last rush, I have him down, Jace, for 13 carries for 117 yards.
Not too shabby.
No.
Kick brought down at the 24, fumbled, picked back up here by Hewitt, now straight ahead, 35, and he's going to be finally brought down at about the 41-yard line. Borger was the first one to get a tag on him there, and then also number 7, Glowak and Thompson were able to get in there to help finish things off, but a good return out to about the 41-yard line there by Hewitt. So 1st and 10 for the Blue Devils, in motion. And now fake back the other way, Tolman and Gavin Wilson and number 54, Travis Kaler, all over.
They are all over back there. And Noah Mathis is back there. I mean, that is group tackling.
And it is going to be a loss of, where will they finally mark him down at? They are going to put him down at the 33-yard line. This is a loss of 8 yards.
Who was the ball carrier in that one?
That was Tolman, Neese. That was the, number 35. So 2nd and 18 for the Blue Devils from their own 33. Drop back the pass is Tolman. Thought about pulling it down, and he is going to pay the price as he is going to be sacked. And that is going to be Gavin Lovelace. And also Riley Larson and Noah Mathis were also there.
The boys are having fun playing football.
We'll be watching that one on the tape in the morning, trying to decide who got there first and who finished them off so we get the stats correct. It's a loss of 5 more yards on that play. And it'll bring up 3rd and 23 from their own 28-yard line. Blue Devils are going to send 2 receivers to the far side. With the wing makes 3 receivers. Tolman drops back to pass, rolls to his right, lays on the brakes. He's under pressure. Borger had a chance to knock him down. He's finally going to be sacked again on back-to-back plays, and that is going to be Riley Larson. That's going to get this sack.
Yeah, Riley and Lovelace again.
So the loss of 3 yards on the play puts it back on the 25-yard line. So the Blue Devils go minus 16 yards on that drive. And it'll bring up 4th and 26. Standing at midfield, Brian Kading awaiting the punt here from Schaefer. Snap a little high, he gets up there to catch it. Blocked! Picked up by Riley Larson. Will he score? Yes, he will. Bronco touchdown, and they lead it by a score of 20-0. And I believe Lovelace was who blocked it. And then the 6-yard return for the Broncos for Riley Larson. And the Broncos lead it by a score of 20-0. So the Broncos score again here, 3rd touchdown of the quarter. Looking to see if they can get a 2-point conversion here as the bucket's being passed around the stadium again for another Bronco touchdown. Raising money for cancer, over $6,000 raised before tonight.
Incredible.
Amazing. Helene looking to throw this one. Throws it across the middle, complete there to number 17, Borger. No.
Yeah, it was.
It was Borger, 17. And the Broncos lead it by a score of 22-0 now. Well, that quickly changed the momentum in this game, George.
It really did, and it comes from the defensive unit. They just pushed them back.
I believe that it was Lovelace who blocked that punt.
I believe it was too.
So the Broncos will kick off here again.
Yeah, they're all playing inspired football right now.
Well, and that's why I said after the last touchdown, I can't decide whether the Broncos are in control of this game or not in control of this game, because they seem to have dominated, but they struggled putting the ball in the end zone, and now they put it in the end zone 3 times in the last 4 minutes and 4 seconds on the clock.
That is dominating.
See if I get an update on the 38-0. The North Central Stars leading Southridge. Southridge, a 6-1 team. That's a big score right there, George.
They've got a very good football team. You got to congratulate those guys.
They do have a very nice football team. They'll have a home game on Tuesday night as well in the playoffs. Here comes the kick from Schultz. This one will come to about the 25-yard line. Brought up there, I believe, by Hunan. Boy, long time before somebody got a contact on him, but when number 10, Tucker Hell, put the contact on him, he got the tackle, a gain of return of 15 yards, and the Blue Devils will start 1st and 10 from their own 40-yard line. So a 2:54 left. That's a lot of time. A lot of things could happen here yet, George.
They could.
In this first half.
You watch this defense really pour it on right now. I mean, this line is inspired. Look at them. They can't wait.
So 3 receivers to the far side. Tolman with the running back alongside of him to his right. Drops back, rolls to his right now. Tolman under pressure by Gavin Wilson and down. He's going to go. Wilson gets the sack. And a timeout. We got whistles all over the place. What's going on? Timeout Broncos. So the Broncos looking to say, hey, we've got you in 2nd and long. We're going to try to take advantage of this. It's a loss of 10 yards on the play, George. And they'll bring up 2nd and 20 for the Blue Devils.
Right now, Virginia's offensive line cannot cover all the Bronco linemen. There is always somebody free. They're either coming from the ends, or Wilson and Mathis coming in from the inside. Right now, Virginia's having really a hard time with that bunch.
Let me speculate for a moment, if I might. If the Broncos win this game, they would get the number 3 seed, we believe, in the playoffs. That would mean a home game on Tuesday night. They would play the number 6 seed, and we know that Royalton lost earlier today, giving them a final record of 3-5 on the season. Mesabi East is playing Greenway, GNK, tonight. You would think with as good a team as Greenway has, that they would beat Mesabi East. Mesabi East would end the regular season with a 2-6 record, and their QRFs were so close after today that you would think that Royalton would move ahead because of the tiebreaker. Royalton will be the 5 play, and at 4 Evelyn, 6 will be Mesabi East right back here on Tuesday night. That's my speculation on what I think is going to happen. 2nd and 10 coming up here for the Blue Devils. 2 wide receivers to the far side. They're going to hand this one right up off the middle to Neeson. He's going to get a couple of yards back before he is going to be brought down at the 32-yard line there. Number 54, Travis Kaler. Number 35, Jackson Germain there on the tackle. We'll call it a gain of 2 yards for the Blue Devils. 3rd and 18 coming up, and the Broncos decide not to use the timeout on this one. Not sure why, but maybe they feel like they'd like to keep that 2nd timeout, and maybe they'll throw the ball here and stop the clock. Tolman, gonna play action pass, gonna throw down the far sideline. Receiver is open, but it's a little bit over his head, or did he catch it? He caught that ball. Holy cow. Great catch out there by...
That was Scherf.
I can't, is it Scherf?
Yeah.
Thank you. So it is a completion of, we'll call it a gain of 16 yards on the play. And it'll bring up 4th and 2 for the Blue Devils at the 48-yard line. Now it looks like Tolman going to go under center. No, he's going to stay in the shotgun. No, he's going to go under center now. And we're going to get a little legal procedure. Yeah. Oh, that's frustrating as a coach there.
Yeah, they got a little something going,
and you get some momentum, and then you take a penalty. No, they say offside on the Broncos. Nobody jumped offside, did they?
No, and I'm going to quit feeling sorry for the Blue Devils.
Wow. I thought it was all illegal procedure there, or false start, but all right, we'll give the Blue Devils a 1st and 10 at the Bronco 47-yard line. Just over 2 minutes remaining here in the first half. Can't wait to watch that one on film tomorrow morning. Let's see what the referee saw. Tolman takes the snap, drops back to pass, throws the out pattern here. Caught, lays on the brakes, and I believe that is going to be Hewinan. Number 14 it is, as Sari comes up with the tackle. I heard a whistle. We call a timeout? All right.
Yeah, Chase Helene stepped right on his back as didn't mean to, but he's laying down and
I'm puzzled at this timeout, George. I have to admit, I'm not sure. Maybe
Broncos took this one?
The Broncos took this timeout. That's stopping the clock. What my speculation is, they didn't see something. They saw something they didn't like in the defense. What was going on, and they needed to address it right there. And sometimes, as being announcers, fans, you don't necessarily see what the coaches are seeing, and maybe they said, hey, look, we need to make this adjustment right now. And from a clock management standpoint, not good by the Broncos that way, but if the coaches saw something they didn't like, you got to address that right away.
I know.
And so when we come back here out of the timeout, minute 46 remaining, it's going to be 2nd and 5 for the Blue Devils in Bronco territory. And I should have went back and looked during the timeout to see if this is Virginia's deepest penetration into Bronco territory.
Oh, it might be.
So there's going to be 2 receivers to each side. Tolman puts a man in motion. They fake it. Now they're going to throw the ball under pressure. Tolman going to go down finally after he got contacted the third time.
Everybody.
About 5 purple jerseys there. And coming up off of the bottom of the pile, number 34
Riley.
and 77 and 58. And the Broncos will take their final timeout here after the sack. No. Virginia took the timeout? Oh, I would have swore. Well, I'm going to believe my camera guy because he's telling me it's this way. So Virginia takes the timeout. I'm going to give that sack to 34 and 77. I think they ended up with it. It's going to be a loss of 7 yards on the sack. It'll bring up 3rd and 11 for the Blue Devils when we come out of the timeout. So, George, let's pretend you're the Virginia coach now. You've got 3rd and long. You're down 22-0. You need something to happen here. What kind of play you think would you call here?
Well, I'll tell you what, you're still looking at the clock over here. I try a little something sideline, something short. They haven't been able to work over the middle, but they have to cut down on that pass rush.
And that's what I want to use against the Broncos. If I'm the Virginia coach, I'm going to run draw right here. Quarterback step, take 1 step back, and head it straight up the middle of the field because the Broncos are getting sack happy here.
Yeah.
And you got to stop them that pressure there. So
and
you do it, and you got you got 2 timeouts left, and a screen pass could work as well. So here comes 3rd and 11. Play action pass. Tolman rolls to his right. He's under pressure, and I don't know what the flag is for, if it's a hold, but the referee goes down. He's the one who threw the flag. I don't think it is going to be a hold on the Blue Devils. So now let's play the coaching role again, George. So now you got an incomplete pass, so you could have 4th and 10 at the 48 or 4th and 11, or you can get a holding call on the 43, back them up 10 more, and you could do 3rd and 30?
Yeah, I suppose you could do that. At this point in time, I would decline the penalty like they're doing.
And Coach Boyle up there is saying, push them back. Field position. And they are going to decline the penalty. So it'll be an incomplete pass. And it will bring up 4th and 11 from the Bronco 49-yard line.
Right now you have to have confidence in that defense because they are playing well.
The Blue Devils bring their punt team out, just about completely new team out there for the punts for the Blue Devils.
How can you tell?
Because about 9 guys came off the sideline. That's the only way I know. Schaefer back to punt, standing on his own 35. On his 20 is Brian Koenig awaiting this punt. Gets the kick away, and it's a short one. This one's going to land just inside the 40, take a Virginia roll down to about the Bronco 33-yard line. It's a punt of 16 yards, and the Broncos will start 1st and 10 from their own 33 with 1:16 remaining. I don't know if you noticed, but the punter Schaefer was back 17 yards that time.
He was back a long way.
He was not going to have anybody get close to him and block that kick. So now the Broncos, with 1:16 seconds left, they're going to see if they can get themselves one more touchdown here before the halftime buzzer. And they need to go 67 yards to do that. They lead 22-0. Dropping back to pass, Helene throws to the flat. Caught by Sari, and he is going to get out of bounds. It'll be a gain of about 8, I think. So we'll call it 2nd and 2 coming up for the Broncos. Clock stops as Sari goes out of bounds with 1:07 remaining. Broncos with only one timeout. Sorry, drops back, or excuse me, Helene drops back to pass. Looks for Larson, he's got him at the 45. Big shoulder drop there by Larson. He's brought down at the 49. Another gain of 8 yards. And the Broncos have 1st and 10 at their own 49. They'll hustle to the line here. Schultz is going to come out of the lineup. Hell is going to come in as the split end on this near side now. First time I've seen that formation this season. 3 wide receivers to the far side. Clock now counting. Helene drops back to pass. Facing a little pressure. Rolls out to his left. Throws to the far sideline, caught there on the far sideline. Get out of bounds, lad. There, that's number 34, I believe, Riley Larson, and he does get out of bounds. So back-to-back completions to Riley Larson. They are going to mark him out of bounds at the 26-yard line. It is a gain of 25 yards for the Broncos, and they are in business at the Virginia 26-yard line. 34 seconds remaining. Broncos do have a timeout. Broncos are going to go no back. 3 wide receivers to the near side, 2 to the far side. Aline all by himself in the backfield. Looks across the middle, now rolls to his left. Throws it to the flat, caught there by Larson, and he is knocked out of bounds on the far sideline. We'll see where they mark him out of bounds. Put the ball down at the 22, so a gain of 4. Brings up 2nd and 6 for the Broncos. Clock is stopped as he did get knocked out of bounds with 25 seconds remaining. 3 receivers again to the near side, 2 to the far side. No running back in the backfield with Helene. Takes the snap, looks right. Throws to the near corner. Borger's there. Touchdown! 22 yards on the touchdown, and the Broncos lead it 28-0.
Yeah, John's been waiting for that one all night.
Well, and I will say this. Borger had a tough week last week. He dropped 3 touchdown passes in that game, and he made up for that last week's stuff right there with a nice over-the-shoulder catch with 19 seconds remaining here in the first half. Broncos will go 3 receivers to the near side. Helene, the shotgun quarterback on the far hash. He'll drop back to pass. Looks across the middle, and Borger could not come up with a 2-point conversion. And the Broncos will lead it by a score of 28-0. The Broncos go 67 yards on 5 plays, and they're going to lead this thing 28-0. It looks like at least at halftime, and I know there's still 19 seconds left, and anything could happen. Because Virginia has had some nice kick returns so far,
Well,
George.
they do, and I'll tell you, Virginia's not without a lot of pretty good athletes. Like I was saying, they have very few seniors and juniors, and when they combine with Evelyn, this is going to be a very, very good team.
It's going to be interesting to see what their decision. They definitely can combine in 2021, I believe, but they could decide to combine for next season.
Oh, really?
They have that option. They've got clearance from the State High School League. I was talking with somebody in the know down there. Any of the teams can combine at any time, even before they start going to school together. So I had heard that the boys swimming team was going to combine together, the 2 boys teams. That may or may not be true. I'm getting that secondhand, of course. And so here comes Jackson Schultz kicking off again. Yes.
Junior high. high football together.
Junior high football together. So there you go.
It's only a matter of time.
Schultz's kickoff. Come down at about the 22-yard line. Return right up the middle, and they'll get out to about the 40-yard line there. And that is number 19 there, Ryan Scherf on the return. He'll get it back out to the 40-yard line. So the Blue Devils will see what they decide to do here with 15 seconds remaining. The ball just outside of the 40-yard line. Tolman's going to go under center. Looks like he might just come up and take a knee and say that's enough. He will take the knee, and that will be the end of the first half with the score. International Falls 28, Virginia 0. We'll take a little break here, and we will come back with more from Sports Stadium. You're watching Bronco football on kcc-tv.org, on Facebook, YouTube, and on Midco Channel 7.
That is the end of the first half. After the first half, we have the score International Falls 28, Virginia 0. Please be sure and help out the baseball team tonight. Head down to the concession stands, get yourself a hot coffee, a hot chocolate, maybe a nice cold Coca-Cola beverage, Diet Coke, Sprite, Mark's Root Beer, got a Snickers bar, Reese's, a Laffy Taffy, or popcorn. Anything you want, they've got it. Sit back and enjoy the band. The International Falls Broncos.
Nice job of the band. A reminder there, some community calendars are being sold down at the concession stands by the Summer Legion baseball team. It's loaded with all our sporting activities, school information, community events, and days off from school for $10. You can own one of these calendars and be up to date on all the events happening in our community. So please head down to the concession stand, buy yourself a calendar, and if you can't get to that tonight, and anytime you go to Falls Elementary, we'll use the community hall in the office and buy you free community activities. Support Falls Legion Baseball.
Oh my gosh, look at this amazing view.
And ladies and gentlemen, give Crazy Thompson a round of applause as we head over the sideline. His 51st year on the sideline with the Bronco football game. Thank you, Crazy Thompson.
Well, welcome back to halftime here as we were doing crises and fixing things and everything else.
This
we
is live television. Anything can happen.
Let's run down some quick stats for you, George. This is what I have, and you can back me up on it.
Yeah,
I've got Virginia 17 rushes for negative 30 yards. I've got Virginia 3 for 9, passing for 28 yards. So on 26 plays, I had the Blue Devils for negative 2 yards.
That means your defense is playing really well.
Means your defense is playing pretty well. For the Broncos, I got Helene 12 for 17 for 154. I got him for 19 rushes for 128 yards. So I've got 282 yards of offense for the Broncos. How's that sound?
That sounds pretty close.
That sounds pretty close. You said Riley Larson had 128 yards receiving?
No, he had 6. What do they have him down for? 5 receptions for 72 yards.
72 yards, okay.
And Anthony Sari had 2 receptions for 32. And Mr. Bozier got a touchdown for 22 yards.
Absolutely, that's a good thing. The Broncos lead it by a score of 28-0. Let me run down a few scores for you that I picked up off of Twitter for you folks. Here's a little bit of a. If this were the final score, I wouldn't be totally surprised. But the fact that this is a halftime score, GNK 48, Masabi 0. Whoa. MIB leads Isle 60-6 at halftime. Deer River 8, Rush City 6 at half. Grand Rapids 20, North Branch 8, and of course the North Central Stars, Little Fork, Big Falls, and Kelliher Northholm, they lead 38-6 at halftime over Southridge. So that gets you up to date on some scores around the area. The Broncos will be kicking off right to left to start this third quarter. That means Jackson Schultz will get things started. I think this will be the first kickoff this way. And we've lost the scoreboard again, so folks, I'll be doing a lot more of that for you as we get things started here. Back deep, I'm sure our Scherf and Hewinen, as their jerseys are muddied up and very difficult for me to tell you for sure that it's them, but we're going to assume that it's them as we get things underway here in the second half. There is the whistle, and Schultz' kick is on the way. It's going to be caught at the 25 on the run here by Scherf. I believe he's out across the 40-yard line, and he's going to be brought down near the 44-yard line. And I want to make sure that it was it is 19. It is Scherf on the return, so a kick of 35, a return of 19, and the Blue Devils start with very good field position at their own 44-yard line.
That was a nice tackle by Christian Huffnagel on that.
I appreciate you coming up with that number for me on
I'm a
that.
good spotter, yeah.
I appreciate that. 3 receivers to the far side. They're in a bunch on the far side. 1 receiver to the near side. Toman drops back to pass, throws it in the flat, and it is out of the reach there of Schaefer. And so it'll bring up 2nd and 10 for the Blue Devils. George, what do you expect from the Blue Devils here in the second half? Are we going to see a lot of that, a lot of throwing of the ball down 28?
I think you have to at least see some of it. Like you say, they're going minus yards rushing, and they're not doing that much better in the air.
But you got to remember now, a few of those lost yardage came on sacks as well. So you got to you're going to have to throw it quick. Toman puts a man in motion, hands it off up the middle to Neese. He gets across the 45, fumbled the football, and I believe the Blue Devils recovered that. And the ball will be put down here on the 45, so when all is said and done, it'll be a gain of just 1 yard. It'll bring up 3rd and 9 after the fumble that the Broncos, I thought, might recover. Boy, that would have been a big momentum change for the Broncos. So they'll put it down about the 46-yard line. So 3rd and 8 coming up here for the Blue Devils. 2 receivers, wide receivers. No, they're going to stay in a bunch. Near, get Lovelace to tap out a little bit out there. Thomas stays in the shotgun, takes the snap, looks left, throws across the middle. Oh, I thought that might be picked off. And that pass was intended for Heunen, and it is going to be incomplete. And I thought I saw something fly back where the referee was. I thought I might have saw a flag. So if you're wondering what I was hesitating about, folks, that is exactly what I was. So 4th and 8 for the Blue Devils. In punt formation here again is Cole Schaefer. Standing back on his own 30-yard line is Koenig. Broncos look like they might want to come after this. They're bringing 8. Just got that pass, and Riley Larson's going to pick up the flag here. No doubt about that one. Koenig almost loses the ball. Riley Larson came in there, couldn't lay on the brakes, slid right into the referee, and I think this is going to be a 5-yarder. I don't think it'll be 15. We'll see if it goes personal foul. No, it's going to be a 5-yard version. And now the Blue Devils have to decide if they want to walk the 5 off and repunt it or what's going to happen here. And he says first down. Wait a second. Are they calling 15-yard? I'm confused. We got to
hook these guys up with
microphones now?
Huh?
So, Mr. Referee, you got to walk that off from you just know where that ball's going to be set down. They are going to call the 15 a personal foul punt, roughing the kicker call on that. And they'll put the ball down at the 40-yard line. So 1st and 10 from there for the Blue Devils. And I think what they called it wasn't a big hit, but Riley extended both of his arms and kind of knocked him down. And that's maybe where they decided that it was. Toman drops back to pass. He's under pressure, and he is going to go down. And that will be Larson and, again, number 77, Gavin Wilson on the sack.
The Gavins were both in there. They both hit from either side. Lovelace had one piece, and then he slipped off, and Gavin Wilson finished it up.
Loss of 8 yards on the play brings up 2nd and 18 for the Blue Devils. And I got to go back and look at my numbers here. Now, that's 3 sacks.
I've got
3 sacks for the Broncos, right? I gotta look back. Yes, 3 sacks. So 2nd and 18 here. 1 wide receiver to the near side in motion. The running back, Toman, play action pass. Throws along the far side, wide open, and dropped the ball. And number 27, Brian Koenig, knows he read his key wrong because his man ran right by him.
He did.
And fortunately for the Broncos, it was an incomplete pass. And 3rd and 18 now coming up. And Tucker Hell's going to come in so they can talk to Bryant, see what he saw and what happened over there. I can chuckle because I'm not coaching and not freaking out about giving up a touchdown pass, but it's easy for me up here to do that.
To us, it's only a game, right?
There you go. So trips to the far side. Toman drops back to pass under pressure, and he's going to go down again. And it's
Gavin
who?
Wilson
Number 77 there again. That might be his 3rd partial sack of the night. And we'll see who else joined in there. It might have been number 58, Gavin Lovelace, who was there to help out on the play.
Yeah, I've got him down for at least 3, and the last one was between him and Lovelace, so.
Going to be a loss of, we'll call it a loss of 6 yards on the play. Punt formation again for the Blue Devils. Good snap. Kick is away. It's a low liner. 35. It'll roll down inside the 30, and it'll be stopped at about the 28-yard line. So it will be a punt. Well, let's do the math. 26 yards, I believe, on the punt, and the Broncos will have their first possession of the second half as they will take over 1st and 10 from their own 28-yard line. Broncos up by 28-0. And there will be no scoreboard on the screen for the rest of the night. We apologize for that as we work through some wire issues, so I'll make sure to keep you up to date. More on that. In motion goes Sorry. This is a hand up right up the middle to Noah Mathis, and he is going to find the going very difficult, as right there was number 9, Tuchel, on the tackle. It'll be no gain for Mathis on first down. And 2nd and 10 coming up. And Mathis hobbling a little bit as he comes over to the sideline as Jermaine comes in. Maybe got a little ankle twisted on that tackle.
Yeah, he's an incredibly tough kid.
3 receivers to the near side, and Borger got going about a half count too soon. And so it'll be a 5-yard penalty here on the Broncos and bring up 2nd and 15. Borger, he was trying to get open on that pass play. He was heading for the far side of the field. I think he knew he might have been the prime receiver on that play, so he wanted to get a little extra jump. 3 receivers now to the far side of the field as Riley Larson will be the lone receiver to the near side. Helene takes the shotgun snap, looks right, throws down the far sideline, looking for Schultz maybe, and a flag coming in there, and it is going to be pass interference, I believe, on the Blue Devils. So Schultz was the intended receiver. And so I think when they walk the 15 yards off, this should be an automatic, should be a first down because they walked off 5 yards. So when they put 15 the other way, it should be a first down. So
theoretically, that's
yeah,
true.
yeah. If the referee,
and there he goes.
Where's he?
I don't know where he's going to stop.
It's always speculation, but it has to be right on where he was.
There it goes.
Well, there it is. So I think the Broncos gained a yard, but it's 1st and 10 when all is said and done. We'll take it. So at their own 39-yard line, 9 minutes exactly remaining in this third quarter. Broncos lead it 28-0. In motion goes Sorry across the formation. Trips now on the far side. Helene looks right. Now comes back left. Under pressure. Pulls the ball down. Now throws looking for Larson along the near side, but that's out of bounds nearly into the cheerleaders.
Yeah, Chase got to the side, right to the sidelines. His footing wasn't as good as he'd like it to be.
Well, there's not too many spots between the 30-yard lines that are very favorable for footing at this point, as this field taking the abuse of the weather conditions of the past few weeks. It just has not been conducive to drying. 4 receivers to the far side. Larson all by himself on the near side. Helene takes the shotgun snap. It's low. He picks it up, and he is going to be hammered down by number 17 there. And I don't have, 17's down here. That's J.J. Bridgewater, who was number 65. It's going to be a loss of 4 yards on the play. After the low snap there. And so the Broncos now will be 3rd and 14 from their own 35-yard line. Helene drops back to pass, throws to the outside. Borger makes the catch along the far side. He's going to get a gain of about 11 yards on the play. They'll bring up a 4th and 3, and we'll see what the coaching staff decides to do here, leading 28-0 on whether they are going to try to punt this ball away or whether they are going to go for it. And it doesn't surprise me one bit from the way this season has gone that the Broncos are going to go for it here on 4th and 3 from their own 46-yard line, although I would prefer that they punt. I will say it. Helene's going to put a man in motion. Borger comes to the near side. Now 3 receivers to the near side. Helene looks over. Ooh, Coach Seth Ediston down here. He wanted that ball snapped, and now, and his hands are on his hips. He's not happy. Helene has it, throws it, looking for Larson behind the defense, catches it at the 30, brought down at the 25 or so, and the Broncos have a first down.
Yeah, Riley did another one of those double pivots, and he is wide open when he comes to the backside.
So they'll mark the ball just inside the 25-yard line. We'll give them a gain there, George, of 29 yards. First and 10 for the Broncos, just inside the 25-yard line, leading it 28-0. 7.5 minutes counting remaining in this third quarter. Broncos looking for their first winning season since 2006. Sorry, in motion across the formation. Jermaine gets this right up the middle, breaks 2 tackles, and then runs into a wall of white jerseys about the 21-yard line. It'll be a gain of 4 for the senior. And 2nd and 6 for the Broncos at the 21-yard line. We've talked about it. Jermaine hadn't played football in a couple of years and then comes out playing middle linebacker, a little offensive running back, and just been getting more and more confident as the year gone along.
Oh, he has some serious physical talents, particularly strength.
He'll be excited when hockey season starts,
Yes,
though, I have
he
a
will.
feeling. This is the handoff to Sari along the far side. Looks for some room off the right-hand tackle there, and I think he'll get down to about the 20-yard line. We'll call it a gain of 1. Yeah, they're going to call it a couple. All right, I'll give them 2. We'll call it 3rd and 4 for the Broncos. At the 19-yard line, 2 plays to get 4 yards. I like the
They got a
chance
nice
of
little
that.
drive going here.
Yes, they do. Helene takes the snap, drops back to pass, looking for Larson on the out, and whoa. That was a deep out. That was a long pattern on 3rd and 4.
Well, and Jackson Schultz was on the other side, wide open.
So 4th and 4 coming up here for the Broncos. This drive started on their own 28-yard line. Looking to improve on their 28-0 lead. Again, happy to have you along here on Midco Channel 7, kcc-tv.org, or if you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, thanks for having us on here tonight on this Wednesday night, MEA weekend. Drop back on the Broncos are in legal procedure again. So I don't know, George, I'm speculating here. Is the center a little late getting the ball, or the receivers just trying to get a little jump?
Yeah, maybe it's just, they want to go right now, and the field's just not letting them do it.
Oh, it's on the Virginia Blue Devils for the second time tonight. George, we've been wrong. And the Virginia Blue Devils have given the Broncos a first down on an offside penalty for the 3rd time tonight. So
I can't believe that wrong stuff, but other than that, you're right.
Jeez. 1st and 10 for the Broncos at the Blue Devil 14-yard line. 3 receivers to the near side. Helene hands this one off to Jermaine. Breaks a tackle. 10, 5, looking for the end zone.
Oh.
Touchdown. 14 yards on the touchdown run for Jackson Jermaine. And the Broncos.
Jackson was running downhill that whole time. That's what you wanted to see. Great run.
So Jackson Jermaine gives the Broncos a 34-0 lead on the 14-yard touchdown run. So the Broncos will look for 2. They're going to keep the ball in the middle of the field this time. So that was a 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 10-play drive that goes 72 yards. And the Broncos with exactly 6 minutes left in the quarter. Pass going to the far side and just out of the reach there, I believe, of Borger. So the 2-point conversion fails again for the Broncos. And they lead it by a score of 34-0. And now we'll see what the Blue Devils decide to do, George. I don't mean to transition that fast because it was a great drive for the Broncos, but I'm very curious to see what the Blue Devils will do on this next possession now, because they're trailing 34-0, and all of a sudden you're getting into, should we run the ball so the clock runs mode, or do we work on things looking to the playoffs next week?
Yeah, they want to play. I mean, there's still a lot of football left, and so they want to come back here, see if they can get some kind of offense working. Every time we said, maybe they should pass more, the Bronco nailed 2 or 3 sacks. And so, the line's going to have to play better. Either that or the Broncos are going to have to do some subbing. But right now the 4 defensive linemen are really playing an extraordinary game.
Yeah, they are. They've gotten a lot of pressure up front out of Gavin Wilson, especially. We haven't had a chance to call his name as much in this game, maybe as we have all season on the defensive side of the ball.
I agree.
Heunen and Scherf back deep for the Blue Devils. I'm going to guess they look like the same 2 individuals that have been back there. Schultz kicks it off. Ball comes to rest at about the 22-yard line. Not able to pick it up there cleanly was Heunen, and now he'll go straight ahead, and he'll get out, fumble, ball's on the ground, and the Blue Devils will recover it at the 35-yard line. Looked like to me like Brian Koenig maybe got in there and forced the fumble. Not sure, but all of a sudden that ball came squeezing out of there. And
well, you know, when you start getting a really feisty defense, it has a way of being contagious to the rest of the team. And Brian's not very big, but he'll stick it to you. Diego Christensen, too.
Virginia will start 1st and 10 at their own 35-yard line. 5:53 remaining in the third quarter. Broncos up 34-0. And Virginia had 2 guys in motion there as well. And I would say the referees have been a little loose on that call tonight, even though they've called it a few times. But, boy,
those double wings are in there tight, and I can see where they'd make the mistakes.
And I understand you want to get going a little bit too, but you also got to stay in. Good crowd of kids over here to our right, having some fun here on the final regular season game. Blue Devils put a man in motion, little play action, and they're not going to pass it. That was a straight run there by the quarterback Toman, and he is going to lose about 4 yards on the play, George. So bring up 2nd and 19 at their own 26-yard line, and. I did not see who for the Broncos got there. There were quite a few purple jerseys there. There'd be a
loss.
Loss of 4 yards. When I add up the defensive points tomorrow morning, there's going to be some big numbers with all these sacks and behind the line of scrimmage tackles. So 2nd and 19 for the Blue Devils from their 26. Trips to the far side. Toman throws out in the flat. Wide open is the receiver there. Down the far sideline, 40, 45. It's a first down, cross midfield, and then brought down about the 45-yard line is Germain, and Schultz will come up with the tackles there. But a big gain there is that is going to be a gain of 32 yards on the pass play for the Blue Devils as they get into Bronco territory at the 44-yard line.
I still can't read his number.
Well, I think it was Scherf.
I think it was too.
But it could have been Heunen. How's that for playing both sides of the ledger there? 1st and 10. This is Tolman looking to go right up the middle. Riley Larson has him all wrapped up as Noah Mathis got the first touch on him to slow him down. It'll be a loss of a yard on the play. And so 2nd and 11 coming up for the Blue Devils. That trips bunch formation where the 3 receivers line up in a triangle formation, it's so hard to guard everybody because, especially with the Broncos playing man-to-man, all of a sudden you start crisscrossing guys. All it takes is a little bump on your own player, and you're not going to guard them.
No, and not that they would ever use picks back there. But
no. Tolman throws it out here in the flat. Oh, that's a beautiful catch there by number 19, Scherf, but it'll be basically for no gain as it'll be 3rd and 11 now for the Blue Devils. Would have been interesting to see if he could have kept his feet after he caught that, what was going to happen.
Boy, he was up in the air, wasn't he?
Nice one-handed snag there by Ryan Scherf. Make sure I get that first name right, Ryan, yes. And so 3rd and 11 for the Blue Devils. Coming to the near side is going to be Seppala. Again, there's that mismatch on the near sideline between Koenig and Seppala, about 8 inches difference. Trips to the far side. Tolman looking that way. Pumps, now pulls it back down. Now looking to possibly run this ball. And closing in is Germain, and he'll run him down and take him down for the official sack on the play. A loss of a couple yards on that play as Jackson Germain comes up with the sack. George, now, I don't know if you ever got to play linebacker in your day. I know you got to play quite a bit of line. But Jackson Germain, you talked about him running downhill on that 14-yard touchdown run. He smelled that ball. He saw Tolman, and he was coming on the line, and he's like, this is going to be fun. I'm going to get to drive him right into that big pile of mud, and did not get to end up finishing it like that. So the Blue Devils ready to punt here as it's 4th and 13, 4th and 12. Back to receive the punt is Koenig. Punt is away. Lands at about the 26, and it'll die at about the 23-yard line. It's going to be a punt of 23 yards, and the Broncos will take over 1st and 10 from their own 23-yard line. So now, George, I'm going to put on my coach hat now.
Yeah.
2:47. The Broncos are up by 34. You get it to 35 points, the game goes into running time. I think the Bronco coaches would like to see everybody get off the field, get one more touchdown, get up 40 or 42 to nothing, and then get your guys off the field, and let that clock run in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Helene, 3 receivers to the far side. He looks right. Now he's going to throw far down the far sideline, and caught by Schultz at the 50. Lays on the brakes, and he's taken down at the 48. I thought the flag was going to come out for interference, but it'll be a complete pass to Schultz for 29 yards. And the Broncos are in Blue Devil territory at the 48-yard line. Team looks over at the coaches calling the plays. Mud seeping up through the tarps that they've got on the near side. 2 receivers to each side of the field. Helene puts a man in motion. Fakes it to him. No, hands it off to Mathis right up the middle. Bowling balls his way down to about the 42-yard line. It'll be a gain of 6 yards for Noah on first down. And that was a little frustration. Noah ran the ball 8 times last week, George, for 80 yards.
Whoa, 10 yards a carry.
10 yards a carry. He promised me today in school that he'd go for 200 tonight. He's going to need some big gains to get there.
Yeah,
but I liked his confidence.
I do too.
2 receivers each side. 2nd and 4.5. Mathis gets the ball, and he's going to be taken down for a loss this time. Back to about the 45-yard line. So 3rd and 7 coming up for the Broncos at their own 45. And you know, the Broncos have a lot of rushing yards, partly due to that 66-yard run by Helene for a touchdown in the second quarter. But I'll tell you what, a lot of plays have been gone for 0, -1, 1-yard runs.
Yeah.
So up front, the Blue Devils have been able to take care of business. 3rd and 7 from the 45. Helene drops back, looks right, flips it to Mathis. Oh, on the flat. Just flipped it a little bit too far, and it'll bring up 4th and 7 here now for the Broncos. Will they punt? I don't think so. I think they want to see what I talked about happen. The clock stops with 1:18 remaining in the third quarter. Broncos up 34-0. And we apologize for losing our scoreboard camera here a little bit earlier, but I'll try to keep you up to date as much as I can. 3 receivers at the far side and a flag. I believe the Blue Devils have lined up offside, and they have. And I think it was number 76, Ben Strukel, that lined up offside. I looked down at him just as the flag went up in the air, and it looked like he was in the neutral zone. So another 5 yards here. So now just 4th and 2 for the Broncos from about the 40-yard line.
Big Ben's been playing a pretty good game.
He has been playing a very nice game.
He's a junior, and he's a good-sized kid.
See if they decide to go with Helene behind a leading block of Mathis here. That's my feeling, George.
Yeah, you got it.
See if I'm right. And they got
Look, they called him. He did it again.
He got him to jump offside again. Back to back.
Time.
So first down for the Broncos at the 35. You don't see 5 offside penalties in the game on a defense. Well, unless it was the Minnesota Vikings when Keith Millard and those guys were all playing. That's going back a ways.
Yeah,
but they would get about 5 or 6 offside penalties in the game.
They were very fast.
5 receivers in the game. Helene right up the middle, finds a hole. 30. Breaks the tackle and drags it finally down at about the 26. It's a gain of 9 for Helene, and it's a little bit short. 2nd and 1, I believe. We'll see where they place the ball down once the referee has dried it off. 1 minute and counting remaining in the third quarter. Broncos up 34-0, looking to add to their lead and get this game possibly into running time. They stay with the 5 receiver look. 3 to the right, 2 to the left. We'll call it a gain of 8 officially, George. 2nd and 2 for the Broncos. Helene takes the snap, drops back, look right, now left. Looking for Riley Larson coming across the middle. Sorry, was also open on the flat and incomplete, and the clock stops with 34 seconds remaining. Christian Huffnagel comes. No, that is not Christian. That they switched running backs. They brought Mathis back into the game as a running back here on 3rd and 2. Thought I saw 42 out there. Wasn't big enough. Mathis on the counter play. Got enough for the first down, and he'll be brought down about the 17 or 18-yard line. We're going to call it a gain of, well, hey, we'll call it 10, George. How about that?
That's his best carry of the night.
So 1st and 10 for the Broncos at the 17-yard line, 25 seconds and counting. So if this is not an incomplete pass or a penalty or whatever, this could be the last play. Then Broncos are actually going to throw a fresh football into the game. Wonder how quarterback Helene and center Cameron Schultz feel about that. So we're going to get one more play off here before the 3rd quarter gun. Whoop, and we're going to get a flag before that. I'll get started. Guess what, folks? Offside on the Blue Devils. I can't believe it.
That's the 3rd one?
That's the 3rd one on this series. That's the 6th in this game.
Oh.
And the Broncos will have 1st and 5 at the 12-yard line. I've watched a lot of football, George. This is crazy, but they're trying to get as close as they can to that line, and that referee over here on this side, he's not going to give them any advantage, and the clock will run out. And that brings us to the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. International Falls 34, the Virginia Blue Devils 0. You're watching Bronco football right here on KCC TV, kcc-tv.org. Quick update from Southridge, George, 44-12, North Central leading Southridge. And it looks like they will wrap up an 8-0 regular season. Should be the number 1 seed out in Section 8 9-man.
So they go to 9-man now.
They are still 9-man. Yep. And so they'll have a pair of home playoff games. If they win on Tuesday, they play at home on Saturday. And then on Halloween Day, if they make it this far, the section final at the Fargo Dome.
Oh, boy.
You interested in a possible trip?
Hey,
I knew I wouldn't have to ask you twice. Go watch a football game. What the heck? 1st and 5 for the Broncos. Helene fumbles it, picks it up, flips it across the middle, and nearly intercepted. Boy, that play just didn't have a good feel from it from the word go, George. So incomplete pass for Helene is, I don't know. That just didn't feel good from the get-go.
I think Chase right now is pushing just a little bit.
Could be.
And there's no reason to.
There should be some comfort here.
Yeah.
2nd and 5 for the Broncos. 2 wide receivers each side. Helene draws back. Jace looking for the corner. Now comes back across the middle. I believe he's got it to Schultz for the touchdown. So the 12-yard touchdown for the Broncos will put them up by a score of 40-0 with just 10 seconds into the 4th quarter. And that's what Tim was looking for, and maybe everybody else as well, as the Broncos lead it by 40-0, and then we'll get the clock rolling. Broncos with some good grass down on this end of the field. On the Little League end of the field here, folks. And the Broncos, they're trying to decide what they're going to run on this play. So I see a tight end, 2 receivers to the far side, and I-backs. Helene under center. Pitch to Jermaine on the quick out, and the Blue Devils were all over that. And let's see if I can pick up the number on that player. That looked like that is number 9, I believe, Tuchel, that came up with that tackle, and so the run no good, and the Broncos will remain in the lead by a score of 40. Boy, the Broncos have struggled on 2-point conversions tonight, George.
Yeah.
If they didn't have that 2 points on the safety, it might be a little interesting. So the Broncos, let me count this up. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 play drive. They go 77 yards. That's a dandy drive. Of course,
It is.
3 5-yard penalties on the Blue Devils definitely helped that out, and the Broncos lead it by a score again of 40-0. And once this ball is kicked off, we will go into running time. Back deep, I'm going to assume Heunen and Scherf. Jackson Schultz, who just scored the touchdown, he'll get the chance to kick off again. He's been a busy lad in that department tonight.
He has.
I want to see him boom one here. He should be all loosened up right now. Adrenaline flowing after scoring a touchdown. That is going to be his best kick of the game, but I think they were offside. Jeez. Come on. The Broncos offside on the kickoff. I just don't know what to make of this offside, this epidemic that we are having. So we'll move the ball back 5 yards, and we'll try it again. Isn't there supposed to be a baseball game going on tonight? I mean, I'm a little bit busy in my life, but
Houston and Yankees.
shouldn't they be playing tonight?
I think so.
How come I don't have a score anywhere for that? What's going on here? Well, kickoff this time. It looks like it's going to be a slow roller,
Yeah.
and who recovered that?
Virginia got it.
The Virginia Blue Devils covered that up, and we'll see where they decide to put that down with no return. I'll put it right about the 41-yard line, so a kickoff of 24 yards. The Blue Devils will start right there, 1st and 10, with 11:40 and counting. Again, clock will not stop unless there's an injury or otherwise, and we are going to get some substitutions in here. I see Jace Aline with his helmet off already. Snap to Tolman. Drops back to pass. Looks across the middle. Fires complete. 45-40. And sorry, finally trips up the receiver. And I'm going to say that's Scherf. I believe that on the reception for the Blue Devils.
I believe it is.
It'll be a gain of 19 on the play and a first down for the Blue Devils at the Bronco 40-yard line. Quickly, Tolman, no huddle. Drops back to pass. Throws in the flat. Dropped there by number 1. That is Cole Schaefer, who was a little ticked at himself. He thought he should have had that one. And I think I can agree with him. He probably should have. So 2nd and 10 for the Blue Devils. Again, 10:50 and counting now remaining in this ball game. Broncos lead it by a score of 40-0. Looks like they will improve to 5-3 on the season. I mentioned this earlier. The Broncos have not had a winning record since 2006, I believe.
Ooh.
So I'm going to have to double check that in my book here when I get a
think
chance.
You're right. Yeah.
Here's a running play off the right-hand side. Broncos had that pretty well covered up, and I believe a fumble coming there, and Broncos have it. He pointed towards the Broncos. Yes,
There it goes.
the Broncos do have it. I have no idea who recovered the fumble. Diego Christensen maybe got a hold of that. I don't know. We'll could speculate, but the Broncos have the ball back, 1st and 10 at their own. Now we'll call it 38-yard line. So the Broncos, Helene back in there, I believe, yes. Drops back to pass. Throws down the sideline. That is to Riley Larson across midfield. And he will be finally wrestled out of bounds by 3 white jerseys at about the 42, 43-yard line. And there's a Blue Devil down. But, George, I know the sidelines are wet, but that pass was completed, and the official was standing back about the 40-yard line while Riley Larson was being thrown out of bounds, and he wasn't even running down there to mark where he was out of bounds. I don't understand. I know the game's decided here, maybe on the scoreboard, but we got to get up there and see what's happening here. So, after all my complaining, George, it's a completion of 20 yards to Riley Larson, and the Broncos will have 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line. Cannot tell you who the injured player for the Blue Devils is, as it is on the far sideline, and I can tell that it's a pretty muddy jersey from what I can tell. But he is up and onto the sideline now, and the Broncos will have 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line. Basically, the starters in on offense here for the Broncos. Thought we might see some subs. Handed off to Mathis, right through the middle, linebacker level, bowling ball, first down for Noah Mathis inside the 30-yard line. We will give him 12 yards. George.
I was sneaking in 14, but
first,
you're right.
1st and 10, just inside the 30. Helene takes the snap. Drops back, looks across the middle. This is caught by Riley Larson, and he's going to be brought down about the 23-yard line, gain of 7. How many catches you got for Riley?
Oh, well, I'm at halftime, I had him down for 5 for 72 yards. Since that time, he has had 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got at least 10.
Okay, fair enough. Drop back to pass Helene, under a little bit of pressure, looking for Larson. No, that is,
Sorry.
Larson. Is that Sorry on the far sideline? I'm stabbing here now. That was Sorry, incomplete. 3rd and 3 coming up for now for the Falls. At the Blue Devil 23-yard line, 8:30 and counting remaining in this ball game. The Broncos lead it by a score of 40-0. They led 2-0 after the first quarter, 28-0 at half, and now they lead it 40-0 after getting a touchdown in both the 3rd and 4th quarters. Helene takes a snap, hands it off to the bowling ball. 20, boom, 15, and then brought down at the 14. Holy smokers, number 40.
Somebody felt sorry for getting in the way of that.
9 yards on the game play for number 40, and it's a 1st and 10 for the Broncos.
He just
at
depleted him.
14-yard line. Wow. 2 wide receivers to each side of the formation. Another handoff to Mathis. He's into the linebacker level. Couple big hits. He's not going down, and he's down near the 6-yard line. Number 40 said, I want the end zone. I think the coach should reward him. 2nd and 2 coming up for the Broncos at the 6-yard line. If number 40 doesn't get the handoff here, I'm not going to be happy.
No, I think he's going to err.
Handoff, number 40, shocking. Breaks through to the linebacker. Another boom, a spin.
He's in.
He's just short. He's just short, the referee says. 1st and goal at the 1-yard line. He's possessed right now.
He is really possessed. Oh, Noah.
1st and goal at the 1-yard line for the Broncos.
Do you think he's going to get the ball?
He's going to get it 4 times in a row. He is going into the end zone here, George. Come heck or high water. Snap to Helene. Hand off to 40. Tries to go off the left-hand side. He's going to come up. Well, he's going to lose a yard. I think the Blue Devils figured out that he's going to get the ball as well, as it'll be 2nd and goal from the 2-yard line. I say just direct snap it to him. Forget the handoff. Just let him catch it on the.
That's that old double wing thing. Yeah, I like that.
So here comes 2nd and goal from the 2 for the Broncos. Helene readies everybody. Puts it in 40's belly, and he's into the end zone for the touchdown. And the Broncos lead it by a score of 46-0.
Noah's having fun tonight.
Well, you get a couple of runs like that, how can you not be having fun? The Broncos are going to go 62 yards in 9 plays.
Parents' night, Mom's pretty proud right now.
Some good plays there. Here comes the 2-point conversion from the center of the field. Everybody wants to touch number 40 right now on the sideline. They're proud of him, and they should be. Helene hands it off to Jermaine. Jermaine says, I want 2 points, and he gets it. And the Broncos increase that lead to 48-0.
Well, Jackson Germain is, he doesn't have that many yards, but he does have a touchdown and a point after. So, and he's had a couple of really good rushes. So he's had a nice game. Defensively, he's been amazing.
Final score from Southridge. North Central ends their regular season 8-0 with a 44-18 win.
Oh, way to go, guys.
Aha. There's a weather delay. I've got my fans out there listening to us.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Weather delay on the baseball game, so it was postponed until Thursday. So that's why I'm not getting a score. And I appreciate both of the people who texted me.
Gives you something to do tomorrow night.
There's plenty to do this weekend, George.
I know. Yeah.
There's plenty to do this weekend.
Oh, I can only imagine.
I probably should take this opportunity to say happy anniversary to my wife tomorrow. 27 years.
Very good.
And boy, and
she's an amazing woman.
And somebody's turning 50 on Friday. We won't mention any names. And
your daughter's getting married
and
besides.
my daughter's getting married on Saturday. 40-yard kickoff here. A little reverse by the Blue Devils as this ball is going to go in the hands, I believe, of Heunen, and he is going to be brought down about the 37-yard line by Thompson and Hell, excuse me.
Yeah.
So they'll put her down at about the 36-yard line. And I was going to say, some subs out for the I see Devin Reimer in the game on the defensive tackle position. Other than that, very dirty jerseys out onto the field, George. I expect I'm 5.5 minutes and counting. 2 receivers each side in motion. Goes Heunen. They're going to hang. Ooh. That is a big, solid hit right there by number 54. That's technique right there.
I'm telling you, Trev is really playing well. He and Gavin Wilson are playing the inside tackles. They're just coming hard. There's just real hard.
We'll call it a loss of 2. It'll bring up 2nd and 12 here for the Blue Devils. They'll go with a tight end and a wing on the near side, a split end and a wing on the other side. This is going to be a handoff to Nice, and he is going to find no room as he is going to be stopped at the line of scrimmage. And a host of purple jerseys in there, about 6 of them. But number 35 will Jackson Germain kind of stop the pile from going forward, but a bunch of purple jerseys coming up off of the ground. And here comes Christian Huffnagel into the lineup. He'll replace number 77, Gavin Wilson, at one of the tackles, and one of the few guys that I can read the number on the jersey.
No, Gavin's going to remember this game for a long time.
Yeah, going to be his best game of his career, junior, and obviously another year to come for the Broncos. 3rd and 12 here for the Blue Devils. Tillman takes the snap, drops back, going to fire it down the far sideline, and that is going to be incomplete. And 4th and 12 now from the 34-yard line, and will the Blue Devils punt this away with 4 minutes and counting remaining? And it certainly looks like that's what they're going to do. Where's the JV coach on the sideline getting that second team ready to go? That's what I want to know, George. That's what the JV coach's job, right?
That's exactly right.
This time of the game, get them all lined up and everything else. So here comes the punt here for the Blue Devils. Koenig, I want to see him catch this one in the air. That is my goal for this punt. Little high snap, but the kick is away by Schaefer, and he did fair catch that one, but he did not get up to catch it. Throws his head back in disgust at himself, and the punt is going to be stopping at the 36-yard line, so it's a 30-yard punt, and the Broncos, with less than 4 minutes now, will take over at their own 36-yard line, 1st and 10.
I see Ben Glowak is at quarterback.
Ben Glowak is going to be at quarterback. Receivers stay pretty much the same on the outside. And the Broncos, I think, are going to take a timeout here. Or the Blue Devils, who took the timeout? Not sure. I just know that the clock has stopped. And, I just want to say thank you to Darcy Sullivan and Jay Boyle and Robert Sullivan, who have been pushing the buttons and turning the cameras and doing the microphones and all that other stuff.
There was a time that Casey Stengel said to the New York Yankees after they won the World Series, he said, "I couldn't have done it without you." Well, we couldn't have done it without these people.
And I'll make one final emotional plea. because this will be our last game for a while on doing Bronco Sports, because the playoffs are a little different animal. So we will not have Tuesday night's game for you. But what we
won't.
We will not.
I did not know
Well,
that.
I'll say it this way, George. If you can find $500 and you will write a check to Section 7 for $500, we'll be here on Tuesday night.
Section 7 gets the money, huh?
Yes.
Oh.
It's their game, and so we'd have to pay them $500 to do the game on Tuesday night. So if somebody out there is listening and wants to come up with $500, we'll do the game on Tuesday night, but we got to have $500, and that's just being brutally honest about the way things are. And you can talk to the section committee. That was Jackson Germain, who was on the run, and the Broncos are taking a timeout.
Well, I think they might maybe empty the bench a little bit.
We'll call it a gain of 4 for Jackson. It'll bring up 2nd and 6. Yeah, I've got an emotional plea into the section director. It has fallen on deaf ears, and probably rightfully so this week, as he's also the athletic director at ESCO, and of course ESCO has been dealing with the Jackson Pfister tragedy down there this week, and our thoughts and prayers go out to his family, to the ESCO community, and everybody else out there involved with this kid. Happens during the football game, and you never want to see anything bad happen during the games, and so a kind of a tough situation. We had a moment of silence, of course, here earlier tonight, and I'm sure many games across the state of Minnesota had exactly the same thing. Here comes 2nd and 6 for the Broncos from their 40-yard line. Glowak going to try to take this one right up the middle himself. He's into the secondary level. 45, 40, 30, 20, 10, touchdown, Ben Glowak.
Benny Glowak.
And his grandpa. I don't know who's prouder, his dad on the PA or grandpa.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting.
Thinking that's how he used to do it, right?
That's how he used to do it, all right. He'd give it to Jim Crotty. But
60 yards on the touchdown, and the Broncos lead at 54-0.
And Ben's only a sophomore.
It's just a sophomore. And here comes the 2-point conversion. Jackson Germain in the backfield with Glowak. 3 receivers to the near side. Glowak takes the low snap, drops back, throws it for Riley in the corner of the end zone. And, Riley, don't knock the fence down over there. So the pass on the 2-point conversion fails, and the Broncos will kick off here with, the clock stopped at 2:55. I don't think it's supposed to be stopped, but they have. And 54-0 the score here in favor of the Broncos, as they will end this regular season at 5-3. You're sure it's 2006, not 2000? Yeah, because it wasn't 2007 either, right? Am I gonna?
I tell you what.
All right.
My mind's.
Reach down and grab that bag down there, George, in by your leg. And I know Stuart Nordquist sitting at home listening to me going, how can you not know this? For sure.
Was that nasty Virginia game?
The 2000.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's the right book. The purple cover. Let's see.
Go to the purple book.
Go to the purple book. 2006, 7 and 4, 2007, 3 and 7. So yes. So it's been 13 years since the Broncos had a winning record in the regular season. As Jackson Schultz gets ready to kick off again, I had to double check that before I said it. Kick on the way. This ball will come down about the 21-yard line. Going to be taken there by Heunen. He comes along the near side, and he is going to be taken down at about the 34-yard line. Good coverage there again by the Bronco defense. A couple there, and it's going to be Tucker Hell on the tackle. So they'll put the ball at the 34-yard line. Virginia 1st and 10 from there. 2:50, and it should be counting. Why is the clock not running, gentlemen? I'm going to have a talk with Amos McKenzie. I'm going to throw him under the bus right now. Why is that clock stopped? The clock guy's got his arm turned. Anyway, I'll kid Amos a little bit about that. He's got a tough job up there. I don't want that job. This is a handoff up the middle for the Blue Devils, and it's going to be a gain of about a yard. And number 24, Diego Christensen, in on the tackle, along with number 58, Gavin Lovelace, as he crawls off the ground tired at the end of this ball game. And it's going to be a good tired, George.
Oh, they're going to pull mud out of his ears all day.
2nd and 9 coming up for the Blue Devils here. Just over 2 minutes remaining here. This is going to be Tolman on the bootleg out here to the near side. Breaks a tackle from Borger. And then Tristan Thompson says, now you've gone far enough. I'll take you down right there. It's a gain of, let's see where they put him down. 41-yard line. We'll give him a gain of 6. It'll bring up 3rd and 3 for the Blue Devils at the 41-yard line. I think the referee just lost his shoe in the mud. It came off. He had to stick it back on and take his glove off so he could put his shoe back on.
They've earned their money today.
They have. 3rd and 3. Tolman drops back, going to throw a pass down the near sideline. Thompson gets a hand in there to knock that one away. Good job by the freshman as he broke that one up there. Now he's calling for the cheers from the fans.
Tristan, he's done a nice job this year. He really has. Returning punts and whatnot. For a freshman, he's done well.
So the incomplete pass, again, on the great defense there by the freshman number 12, Tristan Thompson. So 4th and 3 coming up for the Blue Devils here. 1:23 clock stop for the injury. And now the coaches are going to run a couple fresh jerseys out there. Make me get my jersey numbers out. Number 70, Kenyon Olsen coming out, and number 66, Braden Skifstead coming in for the Broncos. Who else have we got out there? Anybody I'm missing? No, that's the new guys. Here's the punt for the Blue Devils. I don't think they're going to punt this, George. I think they're going to maybe try something. No, they're going to punt it away. Ball's going to be caught at the 30-yard line by Tucker Hell on the fair catch. So it'll be a punt of 29 yards. And the Broncos will start their 1st and 10 and probably run one play. And that will put the regular season into the books, as there is 1:02. And again, I'm not sure why the clock has stopped. It's not supposed to stop on alternating possession. This is running time. Let it move. Ben Glowak, the quarterback, 2 receivers to each side of the field. Glowak drops back, looks to the near side, throws it. That's caught by Tucker Hill at the 37. Bounces off and gets out to the 39-yard line. It will be a gain of 9 yards on that completion. And it'll bring up 2nd and 1 for the Broncos.
Is that Ben's first
completion?
Completion?
No, he had a completion against, I believe it was down at Greenway he got his first completion, if I remember right. Glowak ready to take the snap here on 2nd and 2, they call it. This is Glowak looking for some running room. He'll get out near the 44-45-yard line. And that very well will be the last play of the game. We'll give him 7 yards on the game. And boy, Ben Glowak, he wants to run one more play.
He wants to play one more.
And he's gonna run it. Drops back the pass. Looks deep down the left-hand side, looking for the receiver, and Larson got a hand on that one.
That was a pretty good pass.
That was a pretty beautiful pass, actually, as the incomplete pass. But the Broncos win it by a final score of 54-0. George, at the end of the first quarter, it was just 2-0 in this ball game. But the Broncos get the 54-0 shutout here tonight. Try to put a little capsule on tonight's game.
Well, I just think this was the defense that controlled this whole game for the Broncos. Virginia really never had a chance to get anything going, either in the air or on the ground. And like I said, Gavin Lovelace and Travis Kaler, they controlled the edge, and the rest of them just started teeing off. Great play from Gavin Wilson and from Noah Mathis. Those guys just really controlled the line of scrimmage. And when you do that, you're going to win most of your games.
Yeah, it was a very good defensive performance. Good field position most of the time for the Broncos, although they did have some long drives,
yes.
60 to 70, 80 yards, and that's a very good sign going into the playoffs. The Broncos, I say, have wrapped up the number 3 seed in the Section 7-2A playoffs. They will get the number 6 seed here next Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. It will be either Royalton or Mesabi East that will be coming to town. I'm going to assume with what happened today with Royalton and Mesabi East both losing and the tiebreaker margin, whatever it is, Mesabi East will fall to 6, Royalton goes to 5. So Evelyn Gilbert will host Royalton. The Broncos will host Mesabi East in the 2 playoff games in Section 7-2A. The winner of the Bronco-Mesabi East game travels to Crosby-Ironton on Saturday the 26th. I'm sure a 2 o'clock game, but we're maybe getting a little ahead of ourselves as the Broncos win this game by a final score of 54-0 and close it up with a 5-3 record. Let me run down the scoring for you here quickly, and then we're going to get the heck out of here, George. The Broncos, I said, led 2-0 after the first quarter on a safety. Then it was a 3-yard run by Jay Salim, then a 66-yard run by Jace. A 6-yard return on a punt block. Riley Larson put that into the end zone. And then the Broncos got a 22-yard pass to John Borger to end the first half. They led it 28-0. Jackson Germain got the only touchdown of the third quarter on a 14-yard run. And then the Broncos scored 3 times in the fourth quarter. A 12-yard pass to Jackson Schultz, a 2-yard run by Noah Mathis, and a 60-yard run by Ben Glowak. That wraps it up 54-0.
I just got to say,
One
Tim,
thing.
you know, this whole thing started 3 or 4 years ago that we thought that we would be able to do live TV performances. Here we've done it, and it's just been a great year. I've had so many compliments from so many people. I really enjoyed doing this, and I hope we get a chance to do it again.
Absolutely, I can't agree with you more. And again, thanks to everybody at KCC TV who put the time in and got this going. Of course, Jay Boyle, a lot of that, but we couldn't do it without Darcy and Robert Sullivan as well. Again, our thanks to them. Thanks for watching, everybody. The Broncos finish up their regular season with a 54-0 win here at Sports Stadium. For George Frake, I'm Tim Ringhofer, wishing you a very good evening.